Studio A, it's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we learn about moving or transporting a car. I guess they're one and the same. Mr. Mars reviews the new Kia EV6. Conrad has the events calendar. Jeff is going to fix the laundry. We check in with Richard Tomlin and the SCCA. Plus, we'll have a look at the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm the mystery man, and I'm not even going to tell you who I am. You're the walrus. I am the walrus. That's exactly what I am. Could you? Okay. It's been quite a morning here in the In Real Time Studios.
Always is.
Yeah, and it's truly amazing. We've been doing this for 11 years, over 11 years, and every week it's always something.
Up to the last 30 seconds before we get something fixed.
It's truly amazing, and I don't quite fully understand it, but
it's your fault, Don.
Well, that is a given. It's always been my fault.
I ran out of blood pressure medicine.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Was yours kind of high today?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore? No? Okay. Well, at any rate, thank you for joining us. It's a great Saturday. We're coming to you live from Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. What's wrong now, Mars?
Need to help Jeff for a second.
Okay.
iHeart's perfect.
Is it?
Yes.
iHeart is perfect.
Yes.
There is nothing in the world that's perfect. Nothing.
My wife is perfect.
Is she? Good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
She's in California with Rochelle.
What makes that perfect? Does that have some effect on it?
She's perfect.
Okay. You know. Well, this is a car talk show. If you haven't really discovered that yet, because we teased some stories about cars that we're going
tease.
I am a big tease. But we also have Mr. Dmitry Kirilov, and he is on the line with us right now. Dmitry, good morning to you.
Good morning to you all.
Well, it's good to have you. Let me just guess. You're originally from Ireland or Scotland?
About 2,000 miles.
Okay.
See, from the southern side.
The southern side, yeah, exactly. Well, it's great to have you on the air with us. Dmitry Kirilov is president of consumer services at a company called Montway Auto Transport. And with that name, I assume that you guys move cars around the country.
That's pretty accurate. We arrange for the transportation of vehicles, 50 states.
All 50 states. Well, we know absolutely nothing about your business. We know that it is a very active business.
Oh,
and
gosh, yeah.
From what I understand, that I read somewhere that you guys, arrange for nearly 200,000 vehicles to be moved. That's a lot of iron you move around the country.
Absolutely. Yes, we doubled the size of the company between 19 and 21. So we've been growing for the past 15 years non-stop.
Where are you guys headquartered?
We're headquartered in Schaumburg, Illinois, just outside of Chicago.
Yes, Schaumburg.
But we do have offices in Detroit, Michigan, and some overseas as well.
So who do you transport for, primarily?
Well, on the consumer side, we transport for all kinds of people. The primary need for transportation is people moving around the country, and maybe they have a car or two or three, and even if they drive one, they cannot take care of the others, and they need professional help to do so. Then there will be people buying and or selling cars online. Obviously, nowadays e-commerce is big, and that's how our company was founded, with that idea to bring e-commerce to auto transportation as well. A lot of your smaller dealership or people that do day trading in cars, or car enthusiasts that collect vehicles of different kinds, that would be our primary crowd. On the B2B side would be dealerships, OEMs, rental car companies, fleet management companies, and the likes.
So in other words, if I wanted to ship a car over to, let's say, Scotland. You could arrange that.
We don't specialize so much in international transport, but very often we'll supply the transportation to the port internally in the U.S. And then typically people either contract directly with companies that do international, but we can arrange it. We just don't specialize in that.
I understand. Okay.
So do you do any OEM transportation?
Yes and no. So we do help OEMs with usually mostly when they are a marketing part of the business. So traditionally OEMs hire directly car transporters, large car transporters with bid for their business. But if they fall behind, and they're behind on their business and they don't move the cars fast enough, then usually companies like ours are called to help out and bring additional capacity because the OEMs needs the cars on the dealership lots. Before they get there, they cannot book the revenue. So time is of the essence, and sometimes they need our help. But we do work very often with GM Financial, for example, and Toyota Financial. Usually they're remarketing arms. It's more often that we work with OEMs.
As far as cost is concerned, I understand that it varies depending on several things. And the list is distance, location, the type of car being shipped, type of truck used to ship the vehicle, and the season. Let's go over those. Distance is pretty clear. I assume that you charge by the mile, at least, or that has some sort of effect on the overall cost.
Right, so we have actually the pretty sophisticated machine learning algorithm that estimates the cost at different routes and different times of the year, which is actually very important for people to have trust in the system that they will be given an accurate estimate no matter what time of the year they like to move and no matter what type of car and to what location. So one, yes, distance. The shorter the distance, the higher the cost per mile. The longer the distance, the lower the cost per mile, because once you load the truck, it's easier to drive it. And if you do a lot of stops, of course, you're getting behind on schedule, and you need to get paid more for the more frequent stops. Then type of trailer is very important because if you own a one-of-a-kind vehicle, or I've seen vehicles where the paint job costs as much as Honda Civic. So obviously you don't want to drive this car. You don't want it exposed to the elements. So you prefer an enclosed transport where the vehicle is placed inside the truck and is not exposed to weather, road debris, and the lights, which makes for much safer transport, and you can preserve your highly priced vehicle regardless if it's a high-end car or it's just a classic.
And does the fee also vary based on the priority or the timetable? Because I've shipped a number of cars to California and up to Dallas, and each time, if I was willing to wait for space on a truck that was headed my way, they would give me a discount as opposed to I need it here Tuesday.
Sort of like overnight delivery.
Look at it in car transport, unless you really work on the B2B side, in most cases like OEMs or rental car companies that have vast number of vehicles to ship, and you can put it on a full truck, right, and have one pickup and possibly one drop-off of the full truck, then it's it's all partial loads, right? So in your specific case, right, it always works that there has to be a truck nearby, and that's why the general time frames are always estimated. Mm-hmm. Now we do offer expedited shipment, right, where we can pick up the vehicle on a specific date or within a couple of days for your convenience.
But there's an extra.
For example,
But there's
For
no-
example, you're moving across the country, right? And you don't want to keep your car for the last until the last minute, but then you don't have anybody else to entrust it to release it to the shipper, to the truck. Then you may opt out for a guaranteed pickup within a day or two. It will cost you extra, but pretty much like the post office, regardless of rain, sleet, or snow, the vehicle will be picked up within those.
of trucks and stuff, correct?
We're what you call a third-party logistics
Expediter.
provider or a broker.
Yeah,
That arranges for the transportation. So we work with the customers, and we really invest a lot in educating the customer of how things work, and we have the manpower and the technology, to give them the estimated cost, to give them the time frame. We have the people on the phone, which would be almost impossible for a trucking company to do, because they need their trucks moving, so they need all these cars to be ready to go. They cannot sit and wait for the customer to get their car ready, so they depend on third-party companies like us to gather all these different vehicles and offer it to them at the time that they need them.
How does the insurance work on something like that? Let's just say that I've got a brand new $100,000 car that I've got a few miles on. I just took delivery on it a little while ago, and I just got transferred in my job, and I'm going to be moving to Wyoming. And from Houston, Texas, we're talking maybe about 1,500 miles. And a $100,000 car, how does insurance work? Does that use my insurance, or do you guarantee that it's going to get there without scratches and dings on it?
So there's no such guarantee, right? We all really work hard to make this happen. We have a fully staffed compliance department and also a fully staffed claims department. So the compliance department makes sure that the carriers that we hire have are licensed and insured, including the cargo insurance, which surprisingly enough, it is not actually required by law for them to have. So they're required to have a liability insurance, however, not a cargo insurance, which makes it a little bit of a nightmare for us to make sure that the insurance that we have on file is valid and it's paid for, and it's so our customers are protected. In case anything happens, right, as I mentioned, we do have our claims department that works with the customer and with the carrier to make sure that the claim is processed, and if there's transport damage, the customer is made whole.
So do you kind of score your carriers that, here are my high performers with very low damage complaints, and here are the guys who have a lot of damage complaints and I'm not going to use them anymore? Do you guys kind of monitor that internally?
Absolutely. As I said, we've been actually the flagship of our industry to create a lot of first things, including having a compliance and claims department that none of our competitors had at the time when we started doing that. And it's all because of the customer, right? We want the customer to feel sure that they're hiring the right company and they're taken care of. And we want to make sure that, and close to 80,000 reviews that we have out there with about 4.7, 4.8 star average, prove that must be doing something right. And yes, that is the goal.
I have to ask, there's a company that, of course, you know, we drive press cars, and I know that there's one company called Reliable Auto Transport. They transport a lot of the press vehicles to press events and that sort of stuff. Do you use people like that specialize in auto transport?
Yes, so we do work with Reliable because, again, even though they've been in business for almost 40 years and they have their own contracts, you know, sometimes they need additional help to get some business, and sometimes we do need a high-end specific hauler like Reliable, because in some cases, and we had a specific contract with the United States Postal Service, if I'm not mistaken, where we needed a specific type of truck that Reliable could provide. That being said, you know, the difference here is that Reliable, being the trucking company, I'm not even going to talk about the cost, but the specific of it is that, you know, if you give them a call, they'll tell you, okay, this is the cost, and it's going to take somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks for us to pick up your vehicle, right? So, of course, the majority of our customers don't want to do that. They want that their vehicle picked up within a day or two, or worst case scenario, within a few days. And this is where we come in, right? And besides providing, in most cases, a better price option, we also provide timelier service in general.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
And do you typically, when you pick up a vehicle and put it on the truck, does it not immediately, but does it get delivered from that truck to the consumer, or in some instances, will it go to a hub, be unloaded from that truck, loaded onto another truck, and delivered to the customer?
Staging area.
Yeah, staging area.
So staging is not, it actually becomes really expensive. That's why but we are logistics provider, right? We're a logistics company, and sometimes we have to make those solutions, right? So you don't want to overload the cost to the consumer, and you try to make it as affordable as possible. And every stop and every hub adds to the cost and the time frame, of course. So ideally, we want the same truck that picked up the vehicle to deliver it. This would be the cheaper way of doing it, the most secure as well, because you don't have to transfer it from one truck to another and one company to another potentially, or store it in a hub. But it's also, you know, really helps with the cost and the time frame. So in special occasions, right? Say, for example, we work with also with moving relocation companies, and we do have our own relocation customers, as we said, right? And sometimes they may need a specific time frame that a truck may not be available, like you mentioned earlier, to pick up within that time frame. So in those cases, we'll either send a vehicle to a different midpoint location, or we'll pick it up locally and we'll need to wait a few days for the actual transporting truck to pick it up and bring it to the end location. Sure. This will really depend on the spot. But, you know, if people, I hope people understand a little bit of geography here. But let's say if you have a car in the middle of Florida, right, like Orlando, Miami, Tampa, it doesn't even matter, right? It's not that difficult to pick it up and bring it to whatever location in the country directly on a truck. However, if the vehicle is in Pensacola, Florida, right? Now it becomes a completely different case if you have to take it, let's say, for example, for the East Coast or the Midwest. And if time is of the essence, you actually may need to break this in two, and depending where the car is going, maybe bring it up to Atlanta and then send it up to the East Coast. Or if it's going to Minnesota, for example, maybe you bring it to Chicago and then then arrange for another truck to pick it up from Chicago.
Kind of like an airplane
A
flight.
layover,
Yeah,
layover.
exactly.
Yeah.
A little
Well, we
layover
really
there.
appreciate you coming on and educating us on the auto transport business. Very, very good information for us. I've posted up your Montway.com website on our social media. Thanks a lot for joining us today, Dimitri.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, my friend.
Have a
Talk to
great
you.
day.
Okay, you do the same. All right, Dmitry Kirilov, president of Consumer Service
Good
Montway.
information.
Yeah, it is. You see them on trucks headed out going somewhere, and you go, wonder where they're going.
I'm going to go back in time and look. I think Montway was one that I used moving Austin's Honda back here to Houston.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Hey, I wanted to remind everybody, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Moving on now, time for the events calendar.
So on the October the 8th, the All Ford Car Show is going to be at Gullo Ford in Conroe, Texas. Starts at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday, October the 9th, is the October Hot Rod Madness at the Rocks Sports Bar off of Louetta, and that starts at 9 a.m. The Bug Off is next weekend in
like that.
Navasota.
Oh, yeah.
Get that bug off of there.
You got to get bugs off the front of your car right now. All those love bugs are just.
You know what, Conrad? You're bugging me right now, buddy. So.
October the 15th, the VW Harvest in Leander, Texas. Also, October the 15th, Saturday, the Cypress Cars and Coffee off of Louetta Road and 290. October the 16th, the annual Corvette Car Show at Town Green Park in the Woodlands. Are you going?
Tom Green Park?
Town Green.
Town Green.
Yeah, are you going? You going to bring the vet?
No. I'm
Oh,
not.
okay.
Not.
October the 16th is the Mustang Club of Houston Fall Open Car Show, and that's at Planet Ford. It's kind of cool to see how the Mustang Clubs get so much support from the Ford dealers. And then on October the 22nd,
Because of the dough that they spend at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Ford dealers.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
why.
Do
the
they,
ASCO third annual car show benefiting Camp Hope, and that's at ASCO Equipment at 980 North Sam Houston Parkway. Next Sunday is Coffee and Chrome,
Yep, that's right. At the,
Avalon Diner.
Avalon Diner.
thank you.
Not only a good car event, dang good food.
Yeah, exactly. Breakfast
If
is
you're into food.
particularly good. Okay, time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has been driving the Kia EV6.
All right.
Car not too long ago, so it was sitting out in the driveway, and so I had a little bit of a head start
Preview?
on you.
A preview.
A preview, yeah, because we got to look at it out there, so I had a little bit of head start trying to.
Did you
figure
ask
out what
for it, or
everything
they
was.
just send it to you anyway?
Well, it was fun to drive.
You completely ignored the question.
Yes, I did. Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Yeah.
So it's the 2022 EV6. It has a GT line rear-wheel drive. Now, this is an all-electric vehicle, and it was rather interesting that, of course, when you come down my way, the closest really charger for a vehicle like this is 25 miles away. So it got
When he
there
says come down my way, he's talking about
deep southeast Texas,
Neaterville. Do you know where Neaterville is?
about 100 miles east of Houston.
In the Golden Triangle.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
So it got there, had 92% left in the battery, so I thought that was really good. So this is an all-new vehicle for 2022. It comes in 4 trim levels, which light wind GT line and first edition. I don't know what they're going to do whenever it comes out next year, if first edition is still going to be the first edition, or it's going to be the second first edition, or if it'll be a new second edition. So anyway, we had the GT line all-wheel drive. Now, this is a small
Had to write that
crossover.
down.
My God. You know, leave it to Mars to confuse the issue.
So it's the small crossover / hatchback. So it's a compact vehicle, and I kind of liken it more to the hatchback side of anything else. Really fits only 4 passengers. It's got a very sporty look to it, very futuristic styling for an EV as far as I'm concerned, even for an EV. It was a steel matte gray. It's kind of like a matte color. It is a matte paint.
No, it
and
is, yeah.
It gives it a really nice look with the black trim and the chrome
Sporty.
that's on it. I really like the door handles. So did my wife. Whenever you walk up to it, the door handles kind of pop out. They're just a lever, and it looks kind of weird, but it's really cool that they do that. Got power folding side mirrors, got a smart power lift tailgate. It's got a wide sunroof. The sunroof is really wide across the top of it, which we didn't open it
wide
much
is it?
in the 105-degree
Really wide.
heat.
Did Becky stand up in the sunroof?
No, she did not.
And waved
She wouldn't
to-
get in. She's afraid she'd get burnt, like you do ants with a magnifying glass. So it's got LED lighting on the outside of it all the way around. We had the 19-inch alloy wheels that were with a black finish. So with that matte gray, it really, really looks good. It has a tow package. I never did figure out exactly what it'll tow, but it says it has a tow package on
Big
it.
toe or little toe?
It didn't say. That's what I was saying. I was looking. I couldn't figure it out. So you get to the inside of it. Again, it's very modern looking, very functional, kind of futuristic. It has vegan leather seating material.
Wait a minute, vegan.
Vegan leather.
I had to
seats.
ask the same thing. What does vegan leather mean?
Means it's not a dead cow.
That's what I was told. So
By an Italian, apparently.
I guess.
the front seats are heated,
ball.
ventilated. The rear seats are actually heated as well. It's got dual panoramic 12.3-inch displays, so the whole dash lights up with all kinds of information on it. It's got a 360-degree parking camera on it that come in really, really handy
Isn't
on that
every
thing.
cow a vegan?
And they eat grass. So up under the hood, I found a lot of interesting things up under there.
What's
It's a
under there?
160-watt kilowatt motor, which is equal to 225 horsepower,
No less.
258 pound-feet of torque. So this thing will get up and scooter poot real quick. It's rated for 29 kilowatts per 100 miles. Now, I
that's
did the
mean.
calculations. Now, that's 134 in the city, 101 on the highway. Combined for 117 is what the EPA says to get a 310-mile range. I don't know. I don't think it'll go 310 miles. It won't with me driving it for sure. So I got 3.1 miles per kilometer hour or kilometer hour. So I'm a little bit lower than what the EPA says it should be at 3.44 off across the 112 miles that I drove it.
Nobody understands that crap except
The
Buzz
person writing
Smith.
it, yeah.
Yeah, he probably does. But that's the information that I could dig up on the EPA and the ratings on it. So from a driving experience, it's really not so much SUV as it is. To me, it's got a little bit more of a track feel. It's not a track car, but it just got a little more sporty feel to it that goes along with the way it looks. It's kind of firm. To me, it's a little noisy in the back because of it picks up a lot of road noise in the back. So it's not as quiet as some of them. Now, if you're on a good new asphalt road, that thing is whisper quiet going down the road, crank up the stereo, everything is good. So basically, you get a little more driving experience, but it's going to cost you a little bit of noise. There is some weird headsets in it. They really stick out far. I thought that was kind of strange. But anyway, it's got some real thick rear pillars. I think it'd be nice if they were a little bit thinner to make it to where you could see out of it a little bit better. Now, the base trim price on this vehicle, you can get a base model for $41,400. Now, that's the light model, appropriately named. But the base trim price for the one that I was driving was the $51,200. As tested, it's $53,405. Tesla Model 3 is going to start out at $46,900. Volvo Polestar, $45,900. The VW ID4 at $42,500. And the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is going to start out at 41. So it's all priced right in there together. The mileage range that they're rated at is all around there and together. But I really had a lot of people, particularly young ladies, come up and ask me about the car.
They weren't looking at you, I can tell
Right
you that.
up until I told them it had a 250-mile range, and they said, I can't go to Houston in it, so that's out.
Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips from your favorite podcast source. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too.
Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first-ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Richard Tomlin with our local SCCA update and what's happening over there at Apex. And later, we'll look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday, and thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to hit the like button on whatever social media platform you're on.
Subscribe.
And I guess like is pretty much a Facebook kind of thing.
Subscribe.
Like.
Yeah.
Subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, marry Don.
Ooh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live from the countryside, here is Richard Tomlin, Apex Motorworks, and an SCCA head honcho. What is a honcho?
He's ahead of it.
I thought
whatever
it was a breakfast burrito.
A honcho.
The honcho.
Okay. Well, Richard, good morning.
Or maybe. Hello, Richard.
Richard, we see
in,
you, but he's not moving.
He's
so
not moving. He's locked up.
I guess he's locked up.
Richard, we'll be back to you shortly.
Yeah.
He's been honchoed.
He's out there in the Neaterville countryside that doesn't have cell phone service
He
yet.
is in, not Alvin. Is it Alvin?
I think it's in Alvin.
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 In the outskirts of Alvin.
Yeah. I did want to mention to everybody, you just heard the commercial, Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when they told me that we were going to call it the Car Social, I thought, well, that's perfect, because that's kind of what it is, really.
Socializing.
Yeah, we're socializing.
And should get a pretty decent turnout of Tesla people, because I know he does tons of Teslas there.
Yeah.
So I'll make
Does
sure
tons of everything.
Make sure I share that to the Tesla page as well. That's
Yeah.
one I didn't share it to.
It's
Generally, when I do share stuff to the Tesla page, I get shamed. I get people fuss at me
why?
because I don't own a Tesla. You know, they live in their own little world, it seems.
Apparently. Well, I will tell you that I was over there last Tuesday morning dropping off some stuff, and this guy, it's truly amazing, his business. I've seen him grow from a detail shop out of another shop into this well-known figurehead now of car
Statewide.
detail. Yeah, pretty much. With all of the stuff that he does, he has got more high-end cars than the Lamborghini dealer does.
Oh, yeah.
It's truly amazing, and every slot in the garage is always full, and he's got cars on the outside waiting to get in there. He is a very busy man, and he's hired more people, and it's truly amazing to see the growth that he has had over the years. Word of mouth is his big claim to fame.
When you own that level of a car, those expensive exotics, whether they're domestic or whether they're imports, that word of mouth is very important, but the quality of work you do is what creates the word of mouth for you.
Well, the customers search him out. He doesn't do the advertising as a normal business to draw it in. His accomplishments are putting a quality product on the road that everybody can enjoy. That's how he gets it.
And they want that quality of work.
He had a Mustang GT500 in there that was brand spanking new. had carbon fiber wheels on it that weighed 7 pounds apiece.
Oh my gosh.
It was stunningly beautiful, and all he was doing, I think, was tinting the windows. But wow, to see that car, and it was in a light gray, not a silver, but a light gray. It was beautiful.
Wow. Wonder what his toy is lately. I know he's kind of
Well,
played
he
around.
had a GT350
right.
that he bumped up to the 500. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. That's going to be on the 15th. It's going to be a great show, and that cruise in is 9 to noon. We'll be there 8
It's a
to 11.
social.
A social.
A social.
It's a cruise in social. Yes. So it ought to be lots of fun. Did we figure out what the deal is with Richard?
Yes,
Richard.
his head's going north and south, and his thumbs are
Well, you
up.
can hear us now.
What we figured out is Richard's iPhone doesn't like the sun as much as Richard does. So I overheated my iPhone right as you mentioned my name. So
Yep, had that happen as well.
You're just
so
too hot.
I mean, we get over it, right? That's how we work.
So what's going on at Apex?
How are you doing? We haven't talked to you in a while. Last time we talked to you, I think it was Pikes Peak or
You
something.
were in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikes Peak's been amazing. October, people start sending in their final entries, and we do approvals in January. All hands on deck. Currently, we're building a SEMA vehicle for Laura Ashley Furniture. So have had our hands full with that. We're at 35 days left. before
What,
SEMA.
Ashley Furniture, did you say?
Laura Ashley, the clothing company.
Oh, okay.
Been around since the 30s. Big UK company. We're building basically a Laura Ashley King Ranch, but it'll be a Grand Wagoneer. 87 Grand Wagoneer, Chevrolet 6-liter swap, 8-speed trans, all plugged into Jeep drivetrain.
Well, that's bizarre sounding.
be fun.
Homologation. There's the word.
It's a very fancy clothing line.
A homologation.
So you said what year, Jeep?
87 Grand Wagoneer.
So is that with the wood grain siding?
Yep, all the wood grain. We went back with what I call Bluebell Vanilla, the basic vanilla color.
Oh, yeah.
All original polished bumpers. We've taken everything off and just polished it all by hand or machine, trying to keep it looking like an 87, not looking like a brand new vehicle.
So is that regular vanilla or artesian vanilla that has a little brown
This
flakes
is
in it?
Bluebell Vanilla. We're in Texas, sir. Bluebell Vanilla.
No pistachio
Yeah,
for you.
none of that junk from the
Yeah,
Northeast
come
that they
on now.
claim is ice cream.
It's not a great divide where the one side is vanilla and the other side is
Pasta
chocolate.
flavored vanilla.
But we've been working with Michael Satterfield of Gentleman Racer. He's the one that's heading up this one, and I know you guys are good friends of his as well. He and I are kicking off a race series this year. 2023, we'll be doing a couple different series with a bunch of vintage cars. Louisiana, New Mexico, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and one in Texas.
Wow.
So he's got some stuff working with eBay Motors that will hopefully get you guys out to a vintage road race event
Well, we are vintage.
early
aren't
this
we?
year.
We would fit in.
Yeah, we're all vintage.
So where in Oklahoma? Are you going to Hallett?
We're going to Hallett.
Oh, what
That's it.
what a great course.
All the vintage flavor that it needs, a course that people want to go to, a course that people enjoy, and a lot of shade, which we don't have here.
Yeah, yeah. So you're also, what's going on with SCCA lately?
SCCA Autocross this weekend. We just had our Labor Day race. We ended up with 120 cars there.
Wow.
Good race. Had a couple people DQ'd for a little abusive driving. But our runoffs start tomorrow.
Mike, did you
Mars-
how
Mars
Mike
was
ran
there.
in that race?
How do you have a
Abusive
driving in a race?
Follow you.
There are rules. There's rules you got to follow. You know how it is. It's America. There's rules for everything. And it was a little aggressive pass or blocking, however you want to put it. And he was disqualified from the race and basically points taken away for the rest of the year, so he cannot win a championship now.
For our listeners and viewers that don't know, explain what an autocross is.
Autocross is the easiest way to explain it is a parking lot full of cones, but there's a path to go through the cones. The way visually to think about it is you were in a mall parking lot, every car was frozen in time, and you've got to race from one side to the other.
When you got to get around all those
and
other
it's
cars.
and it's a
Without
time.
hitting
It's
them.
a timed event.
Isn't that sort of like a gym
But isn't it like one person on the track at a time?
Yeah, one person at a time. There's 30 seconds between cars, so there's no chance of you hitting.
And what's
The event I was describing where the conflict happened was actually our SCCA road race.
Ah,
Right,
okay. I was
understood.
trying to put
Yeah.
it together.
No, so
Yeah, no.
What is
Autocross is a different sport. We got 5 disciplines we run in SCCA. You've got autocross, then you've got rallycross, which is the same style event but in the dirt. Then you've got our track sprint, you've got time trials, and road race.
And within that, all the various categories of cars, depending on size, weight, what they do. Within all of those categories of cars, has SCCA adopted an EV category?
Oh, God.
Yeah, we have EV classes specifically.
Yeah. How thrilling.
There are some EVs that are allowed to play in regular internal combustion classes, which is a big debate. A lot of people don't like that still. It's just hard to compete performance-wise because when you're doing it we keep talking about mileage and distance as, Mars was earlier. When you put it on the track, we're not worried about mileage, right? We're worried about how fast we can get there. So they turn the EVs all the way up. They win everything.
So your autocross is sort of like a gymkhana.
Comparable to a gymkhana, a word most people know.
What is a
description-
gymkhana?
Gymkhana is basically the same thing, but it's more style, a little more drifting, a little more sliding, and then they will use reverse in a gymkhana. An autocross never uses reverse or what they call a pin turn.
So if you spin out, you can keep going in the gymkhana, but
you can continue going in both. You're just not going to be as fast. Gymkhana is more about style points than it is time.
It's like ice skating.
So
like
if Don's got his red pumps on, he's in style. He can get points.
And then SCCA does not engage the drifting community, do they?
We have some fingers reaching out into that. Yes.
Because I know that's kind of a growing
more through insurance and sanctioning of events than actually hosting them ourselves, but everything is changing.
I'm more along the lines of a heel and toe kind of guy.
Yes, you are a heel
with a 4-inch heel.
And after you race, the car's got to be towed away.
Toe keeps coming up this morning.
We always manage to go there with you. I don't know why that is. I guess you just kind of instill that in us.
You started it.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
So how close are you to getting your SEMA car finished? It seems like every time we watch any of the car shows building a SEMA car, it's always that last-minute rush just before they go to SEMA.
Sort of like getting the show started.
I'll throw Mr. Satterfield under the bus. And when it came to us 3 weeks ago, we were just painting it, and then it was going to leave. It was like, oh, wait, you can do the windows. Wait, you can do all the chrome trim. You can polish the aluminum. Wait, you can stab a motor. So it's gone from us having it for basically a week to now we've had it here for 4, and now we've got 4 weeks left to finish it, and it's just kind of all been here. But we like a challenge. We like to do these kind of things, and it'll make SEMA a little special this year. Only car we've had at SEMA before was one we built as a race car, and it was invited out by the Hot Wheels Mattel group to come out and be on display in the Hot Wheels group. The Jeep's going to be in the Toyo Tires booth. So
very good.
You couldn't ask for anything more in life, right? I mean, you get opportunities, you do the best you can, you go forward.
That's right.
And with that, on the Laura Ashley piece, are there going to be some of her products integrated into the Jeep?
All the interior is being designed by them with their patterns.
Oh wow!
So it's a instead of the way I compare is like you look at the King Ranch truck, all the leather, the interior is styled in King Ranch. This is going to be a Laura Ashley edition 1987 Grand Wagoneer. So even the emblems on the outside are being made for this vehicle. All the interior patterns will be hers.
Oh, how cool is that?
Now, did you commission the emblems and stuff?
No, Satterfield's taking care of that.
Okay.
But Conrad, I'll give you one more fun about this whole thing. We got 4 weeks left. I'm going to Mexico for 2 weeks. We leave for a race Monday morning. Now, see, you get it. Nobody else laughs. You get it.
No, I think it's great because
that's,
if you read the magazines when they used to make magazines, it was always like, oh, we had to thrash. We had 3 days to do a 6-month project.
We don't want to do that.
So you're going to use the Jeep to tow your car to Mexico? Just joking.
You'd be halfway to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm halfway there. So, yeah, too much fun, guys. Just too much fun. Life is amazing right now. We're getting everything we can done every waking moment of the day, and I'll get you guys some good pictures once this Jeep's finished up.
Oh, well, thanks. Appreciate that.
What else is in the shop?
What else is in the shop right now? Now we've got a lot of the mid-90s Chevrolet trucks. I've got one that's 89 with 80,000 miles on it. I've got another 95 that we just dropped a 502 Owens racing engine into.
Nice.
That's going to be a beast of a vehicle. We've got a 73 Challenger, replacing floor pans, quarters, turning it into a race car. And then, of course, the usual Miatas. I think we got like 13 Miatas here right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, you are the master of Miatas down there, that's for sure.
The master of Miatas.
Don't like that being said. It's kind of like wearing red heels. It's just not my style.
But you are working with Laura Ashley, so it'll fit.
Yep. So we're getting some stuff done.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that you are. We're not getting anything done here except a big ball of confusion.
End string.
But we do that quite well.
Yeah, we do that well.
So if I wanted to get a Corvette in there for a clutch job,
This has been like 3 years. That clutch has got to be toast by now.
No, he just doesn't drive it very much.
I don't drive it
Oh,
very much.
okay.
How would you fit something like that into this shop that apparently is just crammed full of all these cars?
So we've done a much better job of trying to keep cars out of the shop. Literally each side's got 2 to 3 cars that stay in their bay, and everything else that's not being worked on either gets stored out back in the field of dreams, as we call it. We got 7 acres.
The field of dreams.
Nope.
If
Perfect.
you build it, they will come.
Well, when you have 7 acres of land and a field of dreams, you have way too many friends. Like everybody wants to buy the $1,000 car off Facebook Marketplace, and I'm going to store it there, and we're going to restore it in like 5 years. In 5 years, there's nothing left, and we just haul it off to scrap. So,
And you don't charge a storage fee to all these people.
if we're getting ready to work on it, no, we don't charge a fee. But the guys that are just storing long term, yeah, they pay. They
Good,
pay.
good. Hopefully
Out the
they
nose.
pay dearly.
We do quite a bit of the basic service, like on the Corvette. We do those quite often. So
Richard, have we ever asked you what you drive personally back and forth to work and stuff? What is that?
I walk uphill both ways.
Okay.
'cause he lives on property.
All right. Well,
That's his house.
Conrad's been here, so
yeah, that's
my
his house to the left.
Yeah, my house is there, and then I walk to there.
okay. Well, let me rephrase it then, okay?
My
What-
daily driver
Yeah.
is a 2016 Ram 2500
Okay.
with stuff on it the EPA doesn't like. So
That's
But I don't like
kind of like
EPA
your
either.
tow vehicle.
And he runs a little bit of BG diesel stuff in it from time
I
to
do
time.
run that. Help my injector's amazing. Save me a bunch of money. Save me a bunch.
What does it do for your injectors?
Keeps them clean.
Is
It
there a
increased my
problem keeping
mileage
them
as well,
Will it-
Conrad.
Yeah, it should increase your mileage because when it's clean and it sprays properly, you know, it not only does it spray properly in the engine, it also keeps you
It's
from
different.
going
It
into
works.
regeneration
I'm saying,
too often.
From a guy that actually spent the money and was skeptical, his stuff worked. But no, the Ram's good. I'm working on a 72 F-150 with a 302 that'll become the daily driver shop truck.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, more fitting to what we have here.
72
Manual too. so
F-150?
better.
Is that what he said?
I had a
A
69 that
72.
I loved.
Yeah.
Those
Well, what
square-
happened to it?
Square body.
Oh,
Wrapped it around a tree or something?
no. Moved on to a newer model of Chevrolet at the time.
Moved on to a wife.
Yeah.
They're more expensive.
Yeah.
Would you
the truck
put that
went with the
microphone
first
a little
wife.
bit closer, please?
But then
You know, we've only been doing this 11 years. And
Then I
had-
can't drink, though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Richard, it's always good to talk to you. You know, you must have a tremendous amount of money that goes to travel bills, i.e., airplane flights, gasoline cross country. I mean, you're always on the move, sir.
Yeah, we're always filling the truck with diesel, to put it politely.
Yeah.
Just rolled over 240,000 on the truck. So
That's nothing on that.
And
I
so-
understand.
And how about the trailer? I mean, do you have a double stacker or something there?
we had a 2-car hauler for a while. Now I just use a single car hauler, and if we need to take something else, we throw a tow dolly behind it. So we're working on converting my Ram to a ramp truck. Once the 72 is done, then my truck's going to become a modern ramp style truck.
Gotcha.
Oh,
That's the
cool.
goal. Put my little rocket ship on it.
See, and Richard is also growing in his position with Pikes Peak Hill Climb as well.
That is amazing and fruitful, and we will have more information on that very soon. Lots of things going on. My car is commissioned this year. It'll be back up at Pikes Peak, shooting for a sub 10-minute run.
I don't,
Oh, cool.
I don't remember this, but do you do anything at Bonneville?
I did not been. I've not been to Bonneville yet. Bonneville's on the list of things to do, even
a-
if it's just
the bucket-
a second
Yeah, it's
stop.
on our list too.
Yeah.
Mike's driving.
So much history.
We're trying to get the mechanics of the talk show figured out after 11 years, and we still haven't got that right yet. So
Yeah, David said, "Don't touch it." That's all he said. Don't touch it.
Won't touch it.
it's great to talk to you as always. And one of these days, I'm going to tease your shop with a Corvette and say, "Here it is. We're just driving by. Want to check it out, sniff it out, that sort of thing."
Yeah.
Yeah. His shop isn't a shop that you're just accidentally driving by. You have
Nope.
to know where it is to go drive by it.
It's in his
You're coming here on
backyard.
purpose. You're coming here on purpose.
Yeah, you have to go there with an intent.
Barbed wire, electric fences.
Richard Tomlin, good to talk to you, my friend.
We'll see you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
You bet.
Thank you. We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com.
He's always got something going on.
Oh, he's just got this whole collection of stuff. Different.
I've got a lot of stuff today that I want to get to. You just keep yours handy.
Yeah.
In case we,
Well, when you stumble, I'll jump in.
yeah, stumble. Thank you. No, the stumbler is next to you.
He's the bumbler.
Yeah. Tesla recalling 1.1 million vehicles
It's all
in
of
the
them.
U.S. for power-operated windows that may not react correctly after detecting an object, potentially pinching an occupant and increasing the risk of injury.
Ouch.
The recall covers 2017 to 22 Model 3s, 20 to 21 Model Ys, 21 to 22 Model S's, and Model X electric vehicles.
How many?
The
1.1
million.
a lot
EV
of
maker
Teslas.
said it expected to start notifying Tesla stores and service centers Wednesday, this past Wednesday's. Owners will be notified by November 15th. And basically what it is apparently some over-the-air update that's going to fix it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so when you stick your arm in the window and your kid in the back seat hits the button and raises the window up with your arm still in it, it's supposed to go back down or at least stop.
Yeah.
Well, apparently this one doesn't.
Don't stick your arm in the window.
Well, there you go.
It's like they did a study at Texas A&M, said 90% of the people who poke themselves in the eye with a stick hurt themselves.
Duh.
The other 10% don't know.
I think every Porsche made ever is being recalled because of a headlight adjustment screw. It's missing a cover on the screw.
Screw that.
Screw that.
Well, Porsche's got to keep up with Ferrari after they recalled all their cars for a brake issue.
Cayennes, Caymans, Macons, Panameras, all of those.
Parsley.
Sage, rosemary, and thyme. From 2003 to, it looks like, 2016, 17.
For a cover on a screw.
For the cover on a screw.
What a waste.
Total waste of time and effort.
And that's probably a compliance recall, not a safety
So
recall.
stupid. So stupid. Why do they do stuff like that? Fuel tank may leak on the 2022 Nissan Rogue. That's being recalled.
That's not good.
Seat belt not retracting properly on the Nissan Rogue for 21 and 22.
It's a twofer.
Maybe you can get both of them fixed at the same time.
If the parts are available.
That's true.
Parts is just bubble gum for the tank.
BMW X7 third row seat
Welding.
springs are improperly installed and may poke you in the butt. Unsecured transmission may cause a rollaway in the Nissan Frontier and Titan for 20 to 23 models.
They must have bought parts from Ford.
Oops.
Horn is not attached
No.
securely on the BMW CE04. What is that?
No idea.
Me either. Fuel tank vent pipe may be damaged on the Audi Q3 2122. Ford F-150. The wheel lug nuts are not tightened correctly and may fall off on the 2022 Ford F-150.
That's a safety recall.
You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz C300. Short circuit from moisture accumulation in the trunk.
Yeah, you got a trunk leak.
Medication for that.
Disabled ABS and stability control system on the Mercedes-Benz GLB 250 for 2021. And the rear door window trim bars may detach on a bunch of Mercedes-Benzes. A bunch of them. You just have to go and figure that out for yourself. Engine control unit software may cause a stall on the Volkswagen Taos for 2022. So all of this information can be found easily by going to safercar.gov. It'll ask you for your VIN number, which you can find on your car insurance card, whether it's electronic, or it's on your little card that you carry in your wallet, which I still do.
I do.
But I still also have the thing that goes right to Allstate for my insurance.
Oh.
And it pulls up.
You're just high tech is what you
I
are.
am. Listen,
Did Mike set that up for you?
Mike did not set that up for me. Hey, Mike, don't touch it.
again. No, he's got to go buy some new wires for it.
Well, that's the
Some new
answer.
cables.
Yeah, that's the answer. We would just buy more equipment.
Thank you, David.
So last week, did you talk about Ford setting the rules for the EV dealers that there's no haggle pricing?
Yeah.
And no markup for
Yeah.
MSRP?
We did that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be the wave of the future. And guess who fixed that? Tesla. There's no haggle. Here's the price of the car. That's it.
Yeah, Saturn kind of started it back, but Saturn went away.
But I was going to say that didn't stick, and that's part of the reason that the
At
Saturn went out of business.
At Saturn, it did for quite a number of years. It wasn't until later in their life cycle.
AutoNation had that same concept. Right?
Saturn. What an ugly, unattractive car. Sorry. Did they make anything? Well, they did. The Saturn Vue. Was it the Saturn Vue, the little two-seat car? I think they made a thing called the
Saturn Sky.
Saturn Sky.
Which was shared with the Pontiac Solstice.
Correct. Wow.
Saturn Vue was shared with Chevrolet Equinox.
We've been blessed in the studio by a visitor.
It not only got prettier, it got smarter.
A lot.
The average.
Yeah, exactly. National Transportation Safety Board is calling for all new vehicles to be equipped with passive alcohol detection systems that can limit or prevent the operation of vehicles by impaired drivers, according to recommendations released Tuesday. Agency's recommendations follow an investigation into a 2021 crash in Avenal, California that killed 9 people, including 7 children.
Yeah.
Crash was caused by an impaired driver who was speeding. The agency also recommends incentivizing automakers and consumers to adopt intelligent speed adaptation systems that could prevent speed-related crashes.
That was on the news all week. Different segments of that.
Yeah.
So you heard Toyota spent $391 million on their San Antonio manufacturing plant to upgrade for the new Sequoia build. They're building.
They're going to build that there too.
Yeah, well, and it's going to have the twin turbo V6 like the Tundra does, but it's also going to be a mild hybrid.
Okay.
So all Sequoias in the future are going to be V6 twin turbo V6 mild hybrids.
Well, ain't that something?
Yep.
Hey, built in Texas.
We're going to take a quick break now. We're going to be right back. You are on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first-ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, Exo Shield for your windshield, and X-Spell window tint, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
From the audio and video mega center of the world, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Michael Wooding from Woody's Waterfront Car Show in San Leon, Texas. Had a chance to drive the new 2022 Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zika.
We do.
I'm George Goebel, and it's good to have you with us today.
There's a name from the past.
There you go.
You know, my mind, it does strange things from time to time.
Fact.
Pardon?
That's a fact.
Jack.
It does, from time to time, your mind does strange things all the time.
I know. Well, I can't help it. Remember, I used to hang out at a place called the Love Street Light Circus and Feel Good Machine. Does that say anything to you?
There's more I could say about that, but I won't on the air.
I think Karbach has a beer named after it called Love Street.
Yes, they do.
Love Street Light Circus and Feel
Or
Good
so I've
Machine
heard.
is in the Sunset Coffee Building. That actually the building itself is still there. It's been refreshed, thank goodness, because it was a dive right on Buffalo Bayou.
That's why you went there, is a dive.
Pretty much. And to get up to the Love Street Light Circus and Feel Good Machine on the top floor of the building, you had to use the fire escape up the side of the building to get up there. I swear, it's true.
See,
And
Don was doing a movie called Pretty Man versus Pretty Woman with the fire escape that you had to walk up and down.
you noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, but he had the solid steps so his heels wouldn't get caught.
That's right. Yeah, they fixed that. Yeah,
Well, you
those
just wear
heels.
flats.
So I see that Mr. Wooding is there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to go right to him. Michael Wooding,
Yes.
how are you? Sound like you're in the bathroom talking to us.
Oh, I'm in my office. I can open the door. It might sound a little bit better. It echoes a little bit in here.
Yeah, it does. And I see that you got your shades on, getting
The
ready for the...
future's so bright, I have to wear shades.
Thought maybe you're impersonating. He's impersonating Joe Biden, is what he's doing.
Joe Biden, that's it. Well, he doesn't have...
That blank, empty stare.
Brandon Wooding.
Oh, Lord. How are you?
Busy as a beaver. Matter of fact, I quit doing appraisals the rest of this week just to prepare for the 4th annual Woody's Waterfront Car Show.
Has it been... This will be the 4th one?
4th one, and I believe it's going to be the biggest and the best yet. The great God upstairs has steered the hurricanes away from us this year.
Yep.
Last year we had to redo the parking lot at the show because the storms tore up the parking lot. So we don't have all those issues to deal with.
And you don't have dead bodies floating by out there on the end of
that kind of cut back on the mood a little bit there.
Yeah, kind of killed that a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, it's everything's looking real good. We've got the models coming out again to pose with cars. Guys can hire those girls to pose with their vehicle.
And they can also hire Don Armstrong to pose with them. I'll bring my bikini.
I don't think you meet the criteria.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to offer that because we're going to be there too.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Y'all have been there each and every time, and it makes for a great show. Like I said, we're going to have our video guys bringing the drone out again this year, so we'll have some overhead footage. He's also got a new product that he's producing. It's kind of a video book, per se, of your car, where he can meet with you at a later date, picture your car going up and down the road. It's really neat. He'll be demonstrating it.
Who is that?
That's Wayne Tooney, my video guy.
He's the guy out of Tennessee.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, he's the one that put together the logo thing with the sound and everything, with looked like the RPM like attack.
Oh yeah,
he's the one that did that for us.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
he does
Yeah,
some
it's
pretty
really
good
nice.
things. But I did notice last year that the YouTube views for the videos he produces for me went up extremely after I hired the girls. So
What?
I went ahead and decided to bring those back this year, much to the chagrin of my wife.
Is it the same girls?
Huh?
Same girls?
No, I got rid of the older blonde and got another younger.
older
friend.
I don't know how you can get
So-
much younger and she's still beautiful.
Is your wife still? Is your wife still going to be in the hill country while you're having the show next weekend?
No, she'll be down the day of the show.
Strange how that works.
Yeah, just to make sure that you are behaving.
She's very forgiving. Very forgiving.
Well,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
obviously.
Well, I will
she's
say
married to you.
I'm glad to hear that worked because we tried that with Dawn in a bikini and it did not help us at all.
No.
It kind of did the
And
opposite.
many people haven't forgiven us since.
I threw up in my throat.
But we've got DJ Mike coming out, going to spin tunes for the show. He's a fairly well-known disc jockey. I did that instead of a band this year because nobody really paid attention to the band.
Well, I hope that they're down at the other end because as much as I like music and stuff like that, it really is.
It's hard to do the show with the
distracting,
DJ blowing
yeah.
blowing your ears out, and then
Right,
you get
right.
comments from YouTube that said you don't have the right to play that music. We're not playing the music; it's just background music. So
You know where that blue tent is at the other. You're going to be in the Cabana, obviously.
Yeah.
so we are the Cabana Boys.
The Cabana Boys. He's going to be under the blue tent at the middle of the parking lot.
Okay,
Cool.
So
That'll
he'll
work.
be, and I'll have him turn it down when you're on air.
Are they going to have the bar open under the cabana?
At 6
Yes,
a.m.
we'll have Bloody Marys available.
At 6 a.m. Right?
Last year we had to send that.
Well, I don't know about 6, but we'll have them available real quick and early in the morning, and the restrooms will be open for people that had to drive.
Because
along.
I have to tell you that Cabana that's the shiz down there.
The cat's
it's a
meow.
gorgeous
cats-
spot.
It's the spot, and you know it's funny because not too many people actually make it down that far, and if they do, they get us a nice palapa,
Yeah.
the whole shebang down there.
Palapa.
Yeah,
That's the building.
that's
a
the
fish,
roof.
yeah.
Yeah.
So don't they have to come down there to register, or are you registering at the gate? I guess.
You register the day of the show. It's $30 at the gate for participants. That it's free to the public, and we got plenty of parking for people just to come visit and look at the car.
Well, let me explain something. Now, this is at the Top Water Grill, Top Water being one word, the Top Water Grill in San Leon. And it's not as easy to get to as most people would think. Yes, it's right along the bay, but you got to wind your way back there.
It's a half hour from I-45
pretty much
to get to the Top
But
Water Grill.
once you're there, it's really a cool place and a great venue.
It's a great location for the show.
It is.
Tucked back in the water area.
And it's got views out the wazoo. And I mean, it's
Not real sure I want that view.
of your wazoo.
out of the
you don't.
wazoo.
It depends on your definition of wazoo. What are you laughing at?
One good item to note is they did get the Dickinson exit open on 45.
Just for you.
Just for me.
So is that
they opened it last week? So now you can just drive 45, get off at Dickinson, take a left under the freeway, and stay on that road till it virtually dead ends at a yellow light at San Leon.
And that's where you will be.
You'd take a right there and then dead end into the water, and that's where we're at.
Gotcha.
And you had just talked about you haven't been doing appraisals this week in preparation for the show, but I saw you had posted something online about the last appraisal you did of that 1970 Mustang.
Yeah, that was an unusual situation. I've had it happen once or twice before, but I had a young man out of Utah college educated and making good money, and he wants his first muscle car. Okay. And so he was eyeballing this 70. It was just a regular Mustang coupe.
It looked good.
With a 302 in it.
From a distance.
So, I mean, it was a nice body, was rust free, but the paint job looked like somebody had sprayed it in their garage. Okay. It had a fiberglass hood on it that was cracked in several places, so it would need replacing. It had disc brakes on the front, but no booster on the brakes. So they really didn't stop that well. So the interior was fairly clean except for a crack up on the dash. So I was thinking you could color sand the car and put a new hood on it and it would look pretty good, Then I took it for a test drive.
Oh boy.
And first gear took off really good. And when it hit second gear, the revs went through the roof. Second gear band was just totally broke in the car. So I pulled the car back and I let the seller know that, I wasn't going to recommend the car to the guy. I usually charge $425 for an appraisal, but since this was a young man getting into the hobby, which I try to promote as much as I can, I told him just to pay me a little bit for my time and trouble to go there, and I wouldn't produce a report on the car because it was in such poor condition.
But you said you had you were telling me that you kind of interviewed him a little bit on who he was, what he knew, what he could do himself.
I do that with all people that are calling me about looking at a car. I ask them, do you have a muscle car now? Are you familiar with it? Do you know the nuances of driving an old car? And, I had a young lady here in town who wanted to buy a 67 Chevelle for her and her baby as a daily driver. And I said, that's not what you want go get you a Honda Civic. This is not the car you want to drive back and forth to work every day. It's an old car. They had trouble when they were brand new, and they still have trouble today. So, you really need to look at something else. I enjoy the passion that you have for it, but it's not the right time and place for a single lady with a child.
Now, you got to have your transportation. You got to have your work car. Then you can have your toys. It's not very often you can have both in the same vehicle.
Unless it's a new 911.
Yeah.
The Corvette.
I'm fortunate the wagon could be a daily driver, but I don't.
F-type Jag.
Well,
and I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but she just came out of paint and she's looking beautiful. So you'll see
it's going to be out there,
it
right?
Be a participant, but it will be there.
Oh, your wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. It looks gorgeous. A little bit of a color change.
Yeah, I got away from the old. I had the House of Color candy apple metallic on it. And if you're familiar with paint processes, it was an old 3-stage paint where you prime the car, you lay down a gold or a silver underlay, then you lay the candy apple on top of that, and then a clear coat. So the problem with that is when you damage it, you can't blend it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I had a accident in Richmond where a gentleman at the car show, bless his heart, he was probably 96 years old, in a motorized wheelchair. I parked about maybe a foot from the curb, and the curbs there in Old Town Richmond are pretty high. They're like 6 inches, 7 inches high. And I'd opened the back window, but I didn't let the tailgate down. And people were standing around me, and I was talking appraisal business and talking about the car, and I seen him coming out of the corner of my eye. And he pulled up to the back of my car right there. And when he bent over to try to see into the car, he hit the little lever on his power chair, and the front wheels went off the edge, threw him out of the chair, and the chair hit the back of the car and knocked a chunk of paint out about the size of an apple.
Oh my gosh!
Actually, insurance. I'm now with Grundy. Just signed on with them, and they pretty much paid to repaint the car.
Wow!
Painted everything but the roof on the car.
Good for you.
I was pretty pleased with signing on with them and placing a pretty big damage report.
Why did you go with Grundy as opposed to Haggerty?
Yeah.
Well, I've been with Haggerty for 10 years. And, being an appraiser, I said, well, what the hell? I'll send my appraisal to a couple of different companies and just see how I'm doing. So I went to Grundy, I went to Haggerty, I went to Sneed, I went to American Classic, and a couple of others for an agreed value policy at a set number. Had Grundy come back $200 less a year. So I'm an old Texan. I'm loyal. I've been with Hagerty for years, so I sent Hagerty a note. I said, look, you got beat pretty bad on this quote. You think you can do something to keep me as a customer?
No.
He said, sure, let us look into it. So I get an email the next day with a $25 coupon.
Hey, all right.
Now, I didn't tell them how much they were off.
Yeah.
But it wasn't $25.
Yeah. So
They spent more than $25 sending that to you.
What's that now?
They spent more than $25 sending that to you.
Correct. So yeah, I was a little disappointed with that that they weren't willing to deal.
Yeah.
I guess they've gotten big enough that they don't need the business. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But anyhow, like I said, things are looking really positive for the show.
How many cars are you anticipating?
Well, last year we had like 222, I think was the count. So I'm looking for 275 to 300 this year.
Oh my gosh.
I spent quite a bit more on advertising this year.
Have you expanded the lot?
Well, no, but the parking was poor last year. I didn't have, there were some cars that you could almost get another car in between the two.
Oh, you didn't have somebody parking the cars for you.
I didn't. I just told them, you go, down this row, you go down this row. This year I've got parking attendants. They're going to make sure that they're no more than a door width from each other.
Yeah,
Make sure they don't bang.
open door so people don't dent their cars.
And the circumstances last year too, like you said, you had to redo the parking lot, so it was a little chaotic at that time.
And
plus, you don't have a band this year.
Yeah,
and room for the motorized wheelchair to fit between the cars.
I've actually played with some of those guys in the band after that show.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
So yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I sorry about the shirts there. If you'll notice, Conrad's got a nice one on.
We see that.
I had a pretty bad day yesterday.
I heard that
my wife was headed out of town for her birthday with some girlfriends up in the hill country. So I took her over and I dropped her off with her girlfriends to ride with them. Come back home, realized I didn't have a key to get in the house.
That was intentional.
The key was on the key ring that she had, not the one I had.
Nice.
So I end up calling her, and I have to end up meeting them out off of 99 in Tuckerton to get the key back. Conrad had showed up to pick up the shirts, but I couldn't get in the house to give them to him.
Well, you could. You just didn't want to break a window to do it.
No, I got an alarm system and all of that, so wasn't going to do that. So I went out, met her, got the key. Well, first I had to stop at the Whataburger and get me some breakfast on the way.
First things first.
Yeah,
Priorities.
First things first.
Priorities.
But I got the key, and I was a little bit frustrated about everything. So on the way back, I was probably driving a little bit faster than I'm supposed to. So ended up getting a ticket.
Hey, I hate it when that happens.
Wow.
First ticket I've had in 25, 30 years. And did I get it in the Camaro SS? Did I get it in the wagon? No, I get it in the Highlander.
Yeah, at least you could have done it with a little style, a little class.
Yeah,
exactly.
Camaro, I could have understood it better,
So,
But that's what stopped me was a Harris County cop in a white Camaro.
Oh, with the ghost logos on it.
Yes.
Wasn't that Mario Williams is the one who bought the Houston Texans football player? He's the one who bought those for Harris County Sheriff. Thanks, Mario.
You didn't have a doggy door you could have crossed
Michael,
through,
it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next weekend, Woody's Waterfront Car Show down at the Top Water Grill in San Leon, Texas. Be there or be square. It's
That's the word.
8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Next Saturday, a week from today. We'll be there. We'll see you then.
We're going to have a good one.
Thanks, Woody.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Cruise-in calendar.
Woohoo.
Do you have that?
Yes, I
or
do.
You want to wait until I
So-
get done with this?
No,
Because we need to go.
We need to go.
We need to
You
go.
need to
We
go.
need to move.
Well, that's fine. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., Honda of Tomball is having a car show, and that's right there on 249 north of Spring Cypress Road. El Capitan Seafood and with Addictive Habits is having their car show tonight at 7 p.m. The Friday night street night at Houston Motorsports Park is tonight at 6:30 p.m. 7 p.m. tonight is the Katy Car Comrades meet. I guess since we had Dimitri on, we're going to have Comrades and Katy.
All right.
Comrades and Katie.
The Silsby Cruise-In at the Kirby Football Stadium is tonight at 7 p.m. I had to give you a golden triangle shout
Thank you.
The car meetup at the Willis Discount Furniture in
What you
Willis.
talking
What you
about,
talking
Willis?
about?
Go in there. I knew.
Friday night at the Valley Ranch is going to be switched to tonight at 6:30 p.m. in New Caney. The Bayshore Fine Rides meet at San Jacinto Mall is 6 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow morning is Convoy to Chick-fil-A car show is meeting at the Burnham Woods Drive in Spring location. And then the Chick-fil-A Fast Cars and Freedom Car Show is in Magnolia tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. King of the Road Car, Truck, and Motorcycle show is at the Harley-Davidson in the Woodlands tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. And finally, Rides and Coffee at the Detail Garage in Spring, Texas tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Thank you. Time now for this hour's car review. I had the opportunity to drive the 2022 Chrysler Pacifica. Available trim levels include the Touring L, the Limited, and the Pinnacle. I had the Pinnacle.
Of course.
It's nice.
What size or class? It is a minivan, but it is also a plug-in hybrid. It will seat up to 7 passengers with the driver. Exterior changes. It's part of the first Pacifica introduced in 2017.
Good looking.
It is. Exterior features: smooth, rounded nose with steeply raked windshield. Goes through the air with the greatest of ease.
It's kind of like Jeff.
Large Chrysler logo and a smaller upper grille area. Large opening in the lower valance. Lots of side glass for scenery gazing. I wrote that.
All right.
Scenery gazing.
Just drive.
Drive and shut up. Horizontal belt line on it. What I liked about the overall look. It gets high marks from me anyway. Interior highlights. One of the most luxurious interiors in the transportation business, period.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was nice.
Absolutely.
In the transportation business. That covers all of the high-end cars with the pretty interiors.
Nice shapes and design and stuff. Real good.
Infotainment screen has extensive hybrid pages in it. If you're into the hybrid stuff and you want to know how many kilowatts per centimeter it is,
Hey, Buzz.
there you go. Third row seats fold down into the floor. Now, as far as the fold in the floor second row, no, because that's where the batteries are.
Okay. So they gave that up.
They
to
gave that up
go
for
with
the
mild hybrid.
What I liked about it, the ease of entry and exit, superb. Gobs of cargo room in this. This is the storage king of the universe when it comes to space, utilization of space inside a vehicle.
There's so much space, you're going to lose everything. Forget where you put it.
You could put up those really cheap web chairs that you bought at Woolco back in the 1970s and set those up in the back.
Gobs of Woolco.
Woolco. Remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably spent a lot of time over there in Neaterville at your Woolco, didn't you?
That's right. There was the only thing.
It was the only store in town.
Pretty much. Engine. Okay. Here's where it kind of gets
Murky.
weird. A 220 cubic inch or a 3.6 liter V6 that has 260 horsepower.
That's the Pentastar V6.
Torque. Electrically variable transmission, an EVT, electronic variable transmission. Remember, this is a hybrid now, so it does have the electric capability to it. And I had to look up what an EVT was. That's what it says on the Monroney, an EVT. Tow rating, it's not recommended to tow anything.
It's because of the EVT.
I got 38.1 miles per gallon over 386.1 miles. But I will say this. The first couple of days that I had it, it had no juice in the battery. It ran strictly off of the engine, the gasoline engine. So it really wasn't fair to them to be able to give that, because the 38.1 miles per gallon that I got would have been much higher had it included the battery. Now,
so did you plug it in here at the house?
I plugged it in at work because it didn't have a plug for me to plug in here at the house.
Okay.
Oh, like
And
a 110 plug.
It had no plug of any kind.
Yeah, so the EV6 was like that. You couldn't do it.
Well, I mean, it didn't come with. There wasn't one in the car for me to go from the car into the house.
So you have one at work.
There is one at work, 110 volt. That's all it is. And it managed to charge it within the 7 hours that I was there up to 100%.
Wow.
100% charge on it got me 38 miles.
Yeah.
38 miles.
That's pretty typical of the plug-in hybrids.
So for me, it's 30 miles to work. 30 miles, okay? So if I'd have had a charger here, theoretically, I could have gone without using any gasoline whatsoever. Because charge it here at night, overnight, charge it at work.
Yeah, but where would you be without gas?
That's another subject for another day.
We'd all be a lot better off.
Theoretically, yeah. I went 160 miles on the battery, 226 miles on the gasoline. And what could use improvement? I like the battery so much that I wish that it had more juice in it. You know, the 38 miles was good, but I want more.
They'd have to go to a much bigger battery pack for it.
Ride
and then
and handling,
it'd take longer to charge.
Ride and handling was good. The van feels heavy because
it is.
It's got batteries down there in the floor. Base trim price on this plug-in hybrid is $58,050. Prices tested $60,067. Base model price on the Pacifica, that's with the V6 engine, no electric, $37,095.
That's not bad.
Now, all of these that I'm going to give you here as far as competitors are non-hybrids, because there aren't any hybrids out there. I think maybe one.
Sienna.
In the minivan?
In the minivan.
Toyota Sienna.
Honda Odyssey, non-hybrid, $33,040. Toyota Sienna, non-hybrid, $35,285. And the Kia Carnival, which we have not had yet.
Never
It'd be
seen
Carnival.
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 Okay, Kia Carnival, non-hybrid, $32,300. And that's my review of the 2022 Chrysler Pacifica.
It was a pretty blue, too. I like the color.
It was very nice, and I thank you, Kimberly Schultz with Chrysler, for letting me drive that. I really enjoyed it.
It was a nice vehicle.
I know that the people turn their nose up at those minivans.
Pacifica's beyond a minivan, in my opinion.
I know, but it still has the minivan look. I get it, but I will tell you what, it's one of the nicest cars overall that I have driven. Period.
It is nice. I was in it a short time, and it's very nice.
It really is. Okay. I want to remind everybody that the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after a quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in, and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
From the biggest used car lot in America, Houston, Texas. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, more car talk from the motorheads you've come to love. Later, Conrad will have This Week in Auto History. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Seekin, as we always do. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this, our live show, Saturdays, 8 to 11. And we're kind of beginning that now. It's 9:30 Central Time.
Halfway through.
When are we going to start?
Somebody hit the record button, would you?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of stories that I wanted to talk about. One is the best reputation survey for auto brands in 2022.
Uh-oh.
Subaru has the best reputation among U.S. mass-market auto brands, according to the 2022 Automotive Reputation Report.
Doesn't surprise me because they have what I will call fanatic customers.
On the luxury side, Lexus earned the top spot, according to Reputation, a customer feedback company that helps businesses improve customer experience.
Again, that doesn't surprise me.
So, top 5 results for non-luxury brands. Honda is 5. They don't have any cars to sell. 4 is Nissan. 3 is Toyota. Now, here's a shocker. Number 2 is Mitsubishi.
Wow.
Exactly. That was my response exactly.
No comment there.
Top luxury brands, top 5. Starting at 5, Acura.
Okay.
4 is Porsche.
Okay. I guess luxury.
3, BMW. 2, Infiniti. And number 1 is Lexus.
Not a domestic car in the crowd.
Nope. Top public dealership groups.
Oh, boy.
Number 5, Group 1 Automotive. I don't know the dealerships that are Group 1.
There's the Momentum Group here
there's
in
a
town
bunch.
is Group 1. Group 1's pretty large, and actually Group 1 was started in Texas and Oklahoma.
Number 4 is Harry H. Miller Dealerships. I don't know who that is. Number 3 is Sonic Automotive. They've got dealerships
Huge throughout town.
Number 2, not surprising, Penske Automotive Group. And number 1 is AutoNation. And let me just throw this in there, AutoNation. And I was going to do the story today, but I got sidetracked and didn't have time. All the problems that we had with a friend of mine's Jaguar, F-Pace, that I've shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
I called Conrad. I said, Conrad, do you happen to know anybody at a Jaguar dealership? He says, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And so he put me in touch with a fellow at Jaguar dealership out the west side, out in Katy. And he said, okay, I want you to call this service advisor, and we'll get the problem taken care of.
In.
Yeah. And so we took the car out to West Houston Jaguar.
Mm-hmm. Katy Freeway,
out in Katy, just inside the Beltway, just inside 99, just between the Beltway and 99. Anyway, took it out there. Check engine light. There's been $6,000 worth of repair work
and
done.
Still on.
And it's still on. He says, we'll fix it. Okay. Left it with him. Took 2 or 3 days for them to finally get to it. And they got to it. That car's ready. Come get it. Go out there on a Saturday. Go get it. They start to pull it up. And ding. Check engine light again. He says, I'm sorry.
Well, they're driving.
Happened.
They're driving.
They said, let us get you a loaner car. You drive the loaner car. We're going to figure this out. Took them a few days to figure it out. It was a wiring problem.
Probably from day one.
Probably.
Before the $6,000 was wasted.
Yes, it was. A wiring problem that nobody diagnosed, but they fixed it. And since then, that was 2 weeks ago, we've not had a problem with the check engine.
And they did the
light.
right thing, to jump up and diagnose and make a repair, and then it fail as they're delivering it to you.
They took
to give
ownership
you a
of someone
loan
else's
car.
problem.
Exactly.
The dealership was immaculate, and everybody that worked there was very, very nice and accommodating.
And fully certified in all the Jaguar and
that
Land Rover
garage,
stuff.
holy Toledo!
Isn't that pretty?
Tile floors,
Air conditioned.
Yeah, and all the mechanics have these ginormous toolboxes. You walk in there, and you're jealous to begin with, right? I mean, the thing is immaculate, and the service department really isn't as big as you would think it would be.
Mm-mm.
Remember, I came from Richardson Chevrolet, where it was
this
massive,
is Jaguar Land Rover,
and this thing was spot on. And
well,
it was
good.
really nice.
Glad
It was
they
a
took
great.
care of you.
It was a great experience.
Well, maybe because they don't break down as often.
Well, part of that is the technicians. I mean, they obviously had some technicians that were really
well trained,
smart,
Yeah,
well trained,
well-trained.
and had the initiative to get in there and find the problem.
Yeah. So, end of that story. But I'm still working on getting you the rest of the story. The $6,000 that was spent, and we'll need to get together and go over that stuff that I've kind of compiled.
But your point is that AutoNation was the top.
Yes.
Dealer group. I misspoke. Momentum is actually Sonic Group.
Whatever. They're in their list.
It's important to them.
Yeah. And,
I've already heard.
But AutoNation.
He's already been corrected.
Yeah. A couple of friends of mine. That
Well,
work
now
there.
we know we got who's listening and who's not.
Now, here's one. I don't. Have you seen the story about Kia and Hyundai?
Oh, I think
let me just read this story, and then we'll chat. Okay. 15 class action lawsuits have been filed against Hyundai and Kia after online videos showed how easy it is to steal some of their vehicles, setting off a frenzy of car theft and creating a headache for the Korean automakers.
TikTok.
If anyone doubts the power of social media, consider the windstorm of legal headaches Hyundai and Kia now facing over the design of their steering columns. The two Korean brands are named in 15 class action lawsuits filed by vehicle owners in 14 states who claim cars and crossovers spanning several model years, totaling millions of vehicles, are unsafe because they can be hot-wired too easily. The suits allege the vehicles are defective because they lack an immobilizer, an anti-theft device that prevents the car from being started without a key fob. List of affected Hyundai vehicles is long. It includes certain trim levels of Accent, Elantra, Elantra GT, Sonata, Veloster, Venue, Kona, Tucson, Santa Fe, Santa Fe Sport, Santa Fe XL, and Palisade vehicles in the 2016 through 2021 model years. Vehicles with a push-button start are not impacted. This issue primarily affects models with turnkey ignitions, according to a spokesperson.
In the column.
Another spokesperson estimates that in the U.S., The total number of affected vehicles is about 10 million.
Oh, gosh.
If the cost to install an immobilizer is $500, that is a $5 billion recall. Oh, my God. That is ugly. But you know whether you have to stick the key into the ignition and turn it. If your car is one of those that I mentioned, then you run the risk of having it stolen easily.
Because of a TikTok video.
Because of a TikTok video that shows you how to do it. You bust open the steering column and you stick in a USB cord and boom, you can get into it. Shows you how to do it. Here's how to steal the car.
Yeah, it's like the you'd watch the old TV shows of the guy would break in the car and he'd get under the steering column and click these two wires together and drive away.
Right.
That's how simple it is to do this.
Yes.
It is truly.
In today's age, you'd think, what, are you kidding me? My 2001 Corvette has got an archaic immobilizer on it.
But it works.
Yeah, but that's
Because
on a
you
Corvette.
you stick the key into the ignition, which is not on the column. It's in the dashboard, and then you turn it. And then once you turn it on, you can hear the immobilizer go click, and it loosens the steering wheel, which is the thing that went out. It was actually a recall for the Corvette, and they had to replace it. It cost me $700 because it was out of warranty. The warranty lasted for 10 years. Well, whoever had the car before me never got it fixed, and I was the one that had to suck up $700 repair.
Should have called.
Well, and I understand because the Corvette was a pricey car whenever it came out. I mean, it's not cheap now, but I didn't realize that Hyundais and Kias had those back when they. Well, I know they don't, but I mean, why would you expect them to have?
Well, they had immobilizers all the way back to Chevy Cavalier and Chevy Cobalt, and sometimes the immobilizer is relatively simple. The one GM used for years is what's basically a Hall effect switch. So it's this light that passes between these two sensors, and it would have to rotate over this bar, and it would see that interruption of that, and that was the immobilizer, and that would shut off the fuel system and shut off the starting system.
Correct.
So Kia saved $20 a car by not doing this, and they're going to pay dearly for it.
But did they ever do it?
Well, I don't know that.
I just to me, that time frame, I wouldn't expect that to be on that car.
But there's been different types of immobilizers through the years. You remember GM had those with the little pellet
the
in
pellet,
the key,
right.
which are just a nightmare to get a new key made for.
Well, my friend Bruce had one on the Corvette that he bought.
Yeah.
He had to get one of those. I think we talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say. But expectations. I mean, if it's not there, I just wouldn't expect one. I would expect one in a car like your Corvette or newer cars. But
I think they're going to have them on all cars if they're going to get this class action lawsuit.
Right.
And I'm going to go back to my thing about class action lawsuits. The only people who get rich are the
lawyers,
attorneys.
yeah.
Every Kia owner is going to get maybe a recall done on their vehicle and $12, and the lawyer is going to get $100 million.
Well, and they'll get a $500 fix.
No, they're not. Well, possibly, depending on the age of the vehicle, as far as how far back they're going to go.
Yeah.
So does your Oldsmobile have the immobilizer?
Yes, it
It is immobile.
It is immobile. There's no doubt about it.
So where do you think, of all of the EVs, pure EVs that are sold in the United States, what state do you think has the biggest chunk of them?
California.
California has 38.9% of all the EVs sold in the United States. Who do you think's number two?
Wait for it. Texas.
Florida.
Okay, I'd believe that.
Texas is number 3 at 5.4%. Number 4 is the state of Washington at 4.4%. New York at 3.6%. New Jersey at 3.3%. Because you got to remember, in Washington and New Jersey, New
York and New Jersey.
No, in New Jersey, you're not allowed to fill your own car with gasoline. They don't have self-service gas stations. They're all full-service gas stations. Oh, yeah, it's been like that.
And you can't make left turns either.
Why? Why can't you
I don't
wait?
know
Let's
about
go
making
back.
left
Let's
turns.
go back to the.
They have never, in the state of New Jersey, they have never allowed
And the
self-service
purpose
gas
is?
Well, they say it's safety.
It's New Jersey. I think
Joe Piscopo. Are you from Jersey? I'm from Jersey too.
I think it's about the venting emissions that I guess people aren't smart enough to know if it's leaking on the ground to stop pumping.
Well, you've got people here that pump their gas on their cell phone, and that's wrong.
Yeah. And then Arizona is number 7 with 3%. Colorado, which kind of surprised me, was number 8 at 2.5. I thought Colorado would have been buying more EVs than
They're
that.
spending their money on something else.
And then Illinois at 2.5 and Georgia at 2.3. So by far, California is the biggest purchaser of EVs nationwide. Understandable, and now as Newsom is pushing this no internal combustion engines after 2035.
Yeah.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
And then we don't have the electricity to charge your EV.
And I was somebody the other day. I was in a conversation and said, "Well, solar power is going to do it." Solar power. We've been doing solar power for 40 years, and it's not even 5% of the electricity produced.
Solar power is
In
not going
40
to
years.
produce the power necessary to charge 100,000 EVs.
We'll do it now,
California's got way
but
more.
they're saying, but they're saying they're going to develop it. It's
Well, you
going
got
to
to
develop.
remember the problem with solar power is solar power goes directly and wind power goes directly on the grid. There is no storage system for it. They don't have.
If you have one at the house, you have to have a storage system.
You have to have a
for it.
storage system, but that is so minuscule of what it puts out.
But, if you want to spend, I don't know how much there, $10,000 on a few solar panels to put on your roof and the battery to store it into, you might be able to power your car.
And those solar panels have to be replaced after 12 to 15 years.
Make the blades of a wind turbine out of the solar panel. That's genius.
Yeah.
Very nice. Jeffrey,
Then-
no
and
wonder
then-
you
and
don't
then
have
put-
any hair on your
You know,
head.
I
And then
did-
put it on the
brains
roof
are
of your
coming
car.
through.
I did watch a show about savants. I told you that, and I think I've got those tendencies.
I think you
I
do.
think penicillin helps.
The
that, doesn't
savant.
it?
And then put it on the roof of your car, and as you're driving down the road, the propeller turns.
Yeah.
It's going to regenerate the
Like a beanie.
electricity for your
A beanie
vehicle.
on your
That
head.
way
And
too, with the blades
Get
kill
your
the
dinner.
birds, then
You
the
get dinner.
solar panels can fry them
You
That's
bet.
right.
all at one time.
Write this down. We're taking it.
You
Hey, Buzz,
taking it on
you've
the road.
call
smoked
us.
something in your life, I can tell.
7 herbs and spices.
Did you pay much attention to the release of the new Mustang?
Yes and yes. Well, how disappointing.
Very.
Were you?
Totally disappointed. The dash is okay. I mean, it's okay.
I only saw
The
exterior.
Mustang people are not happy.
No, hell no. I wouldn't be happy either. It looks like the old one.
Well,
Exactly.
and there's a reason for that. Is the previous generation
Previous.
Mustang since 2014 is called the S550 chassis. The new Mustang they just announced is the S650 chassis. It's almost the same.
I was just going to say it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I read.
It is. Yeah, there's not a
It's
big, huge
disappointing.
difference in it.
You know, there's a, a feature that we do once a week on this program, and Conrad manages to put this together for us, and
Oh,
I
boy.
truly enjoy it myself.
I do too.
Some good
it's
stuff
called
today.
This Week in Auto History on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
So in 1932, to promote the Pierce Arrow 12-cylinder engine, Ab Jenkins pitched a wild idea.
Ab?
Ab, A-B. Maybe it's Abe. He would drive one for 24 hours straight without ever leaving the driver's seat. Now, I'm not really, I know I couldn't do that. I'm going to stop about every 40 minutes.
Depends on if there's a hole in the floor.
So for 24 hours, and he would never get out of the driver's seat. He had a 10-mile circular track created out at the Bonneville Salt Flats.
I think that's where the idea of the Saturday Night Live's actual Saturday Night Live little thing that they did, the skit called "Oops, I Crapped My Pants." Did you see that one?
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm sure I have.
There was a diaper involved in that.
When the 24-hour
book out
run
about
came
it.
to an end in this week in 1932, he had averaged 112 miles per hour, which blows my mind that he could go that fast for that long. And he covered 2,710 miles.
Hurry up! I gotta pee.
Well, I think he might have, he had to stay in the car for refueling and stuff, but he never got out to use the boys' room.
And there's the fuel tanks, the gravity fed.
Right. And then in 1955, the Ford Motor Company produced its 2 millionth V8 engine this week. The first Ford V8 that was manufactured, the Flathead, was very popular in that time, but it was not the Flathead that was the 2 million.
And it wasn't very reliable, from what I understand, the Flathead.
No. Oh, well, the engines back then had to be rebuilt every 30,000 miles. It's not like they are today, that the reliability wasn't expected. In 1959, a no-named Plymouth was produced. The first Valiant,
I knew it,
was sold. It was built at the Hamtramck, Michigan assembly plant. It was not, the name of it was not known as the Plymouth Valiant until 1961. Originally, Plymouth had planned on calling this the Falcon.
Mars, we've been to the Hamtramck plant.
Oh yeah, I've been to Hamtramck as well.
Oh, I have too.
But oops, Ford used the Falcon on their compact car, so Plymouth was left without a name. So they did a company-wide survey, and they come up with the name Valiant. So all it had was Valiant on it. It never said Plymouth on it for the first year of production.
Prince Valiant.
In 1970, Jimi Hendrix's Corvette goes missing. Shortly after his death in London in 1970, his estate sold off many of his belongings to cover various expenses. The Corvette believed to be one of those items sold. To this day, people are searching for the Jimi Hendrix Corvette. If you have a Cortez, what was originally a Cortez Silver 1969 427 390 horse Corvette, you may want to do a little research. You could be riding around in a piece of rock and roll history. I thought that was a great story.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't have one, so I just thought it was a great story. In 1978, Artie Cunningham. You remember who Artie Cunningham was?
Yeah.
Remember who Artie was?
Yeah.
Yep.
Artie Cunningham. No, not from
Spit it
Happy
out.
Days. He buys a 1958 Plymouth Fury called Christine. Another one of those movie connections. In 1979, legendary Lee Iacocca makes a comeback after being fired from Ford. He was elected chairman of the failing Chrysler Corporation, and truly, Lee Iacocca saved Chrysler
Single-handedly with
He
the
did.
minivan.
Right. Well, K-Car. He was originally the K car, and you got to remember the K car was the chassis, the platform for the minivan, but the minivan was what saved it. But yeah,
See,
and
minivans,
Lee
minivans
Iacocca
save the world. Yeah.
And Lee Iacocca went on to restore the Statue of Liberty as well. Great man.
I read his book. It was a good book.
It was.
In 2006, Ford bought the rights to the Rover name from BMW for £6 million. Ford never branded a car for Rover. They were still building cars, but it wasn't. Ford never got involved in making one. And I thought, what an odd grouping of Ford and Rover together. I'm not a huge Rover fan at any level. And then after that agreement, Ford and Jaguar and Land Rover were sold to the Tata motor car.
There you go.
There
That's what's
you
wrong
go.
with it.
So your Jaguar and your Land Rover are now owned by Tata.
Got
Ta-ta.
some great tatas on it.
Ta-da.
That's this week in automotive history.
Thank you very much.
You write that down.
Write that down. Write that on there. Have Becky look over your shoulder. And, honey, what's this about tatas on here?
Jaguar Tatas. I thought it was Cougar Tatas. No, that's a
No, that's
Mercury.
another.
All right.
She's not old enough for
Did
that.
you know gorillas can't swim? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yep.
You have some of the most unusual.
That's why he has no hair.
He's
I'm
a
telling you,
fountain of useless
his
information.
Fountain of
brain,
use.
his
Fountain of
brain
useless.
is poking through his scalp, and he has no hair.
And Buckingham Palace used to be a brothel.
No, it wasn't.
I read it in a book.
Yeah, I read it. I read it on the internet.
No.
Buckingham
I've
Palace.
got
Well,
a
if it's
book
on the
right now.
internet, it's got to be true.
Rental car company Hertz Global Holdings
I
plans
heard
to
this.
order up to 175,000 GM electric vehicles over the next 5 years. The latest move by the rent car firm to add zero-emission vehicles. Hertz expects to begin taking delivery of Chevy Bolt EVs and Bolt EUVs in early 2023. Hertz's current goal is for 1/4 of its fleet to be electric by the end of 2024.
And they already have a collection of Teslas.
U.S. Environmental Protection Agency will consider adopting more stringent greenhouse gas emissions rules for heavy trucks. For heavy trucks, after Congress passed new incentives to speed the adoption of zero-emission vehicles. In March, the EPA proposed new rules to cut smog-forming and greenhouse gas emissions from heavy-duty vehicles. Can I just say something about that? Mm-hmm. That ain't nothing compared to the fumes coming off of jet aircraft that have them sit and idle for hours. Some of them have a thing called a
power unit.
A power unit that is
external power unit.
Or an internal one, which is another jet engine, basically a small one. But that's what they use to power the air conditioning and the lights inside
I thought
of
it was
aircraft.
some sort of generator.
Thank goodness.
That is it. The ground power units that's what you're talking about. I'm talking about the actual jet engine. They let those things idle for days.
Really?
Out there.
And do you know how much anywhere? Do you know how much fuel those things burn?
A ton.
Oh, my God.
Well, they measure fuel by weight on a plane.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
They don't measure it by gallons.
Yes.
So to follow up on that story, Toyota and Kenworth have proven the possibility of a fuel cell electric truck with a successful completion of their truck operations product. They compared a 2017 diesel engine, and they now have a fuel cell that will perform to the level of a 2017 diesel. So watch what you're talking about, because that fuel emissions issue is going to be more prevalent than we think.
More than a dozen automakers, including Toyota and Nissan, have signed up with a platform for patent licenses from 51 tech companies aiming to simplify access to wireless technology and avoid costly legal battles. Conflicts have stemmed in part from different views among car makers, suppliers, and tech firms over who should shoulder the cost of licensing. Avanci, A-V-A-N-C-I, Avanci, charges a flat fee of $20 per car, increased this month from $15 previously, with the monthly money distributed among patent holders. It's that whole patent thing. Well, I was there first, I should get all of the money. Well, you were there partially. It's this whole patent thing between the automakers and suppliers.
And it goes back to the 50s and 60s with intermittent wipers and the guy that got screwed out of all of that.
Yeah. The new signings, which also include Renault, Stellantis, Honda, mean 80 to 85% of cars with 2G technology or higher are licensed through the platform. The model allows car makers to avoid the battles over royalties that took place between smartphone makers such as Apple and Samsung and telecoms companies who negotiate one-on-one for licenses. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And
it's a big deal.
Big deal.
You'll never know it, but you're paying for that, and you've paid a lot more, and hopefully with this conglomeration of car makers and suppliers joining the club, as it were, it will not add more to the cost in years to come.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, probably about 6 weeks ago, we had the guy on from Dodge talking about this final run of vehicles, the last call models of the Challenger. Well, they've introduced the 2023 Challenger Black Ghost, paying homage to a similarly named model Challenger that ruled Woodward Avenue back in the 70s.
Very nice.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, very. Time now for a quick break, but we'll be right back. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in, and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, it's a cameo appearance by the Lilienthals,
All right.
Mercedes and Andy, with fun car news from the Pacific Northwest. Jeff has a feature, concept cars. Where did they go? We'll look. Plus, we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines, along with Conrad's Car Clinic, all straight ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. It's going to be another hot one here in Houston.
You bet.
Hot, baby. Hot like
sweaty.
me. Yeah.
Stinky.
What, 97 today or something like that?
Yeah, and 85% humidity.
Yeah. So come on down.
You can sweat taking a cold shower.
I know, but your skin looks beautiful.
Your hair's a little moist.
Yeah, well, there's that. We're waiting for the Lilienthals to punch in. They should be here momentarily. They usually are. And once they arrive, then we will be cutting to them out on the left coast. We assume that they are out there. That's where they normally live, but you never know where they'll be.
Well, I got a little bit more information on the next generation Mustang if you want to
I do,
chat about it.
Yeah, so we in an earlier segment of the show, we were talking about the Mustang and kind of disappointing the overall thing. I mean, they've changed
even the visuals of the car.
Huh?
Even the visuals of the car, people.
But I mean, it's just what's cutting edge about it? What's different about it? What makes it nothing? I mean, they could have done that with just an update to the grill.
Yeah.
Didn't they make some changes to the motor or something? They were
Well, the base motor now in a Mustang is the 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine, and it's got a dual fuel system, so it's got both gasoline direct injection and port fuel injected engine. So that 4-cylinder has 8 fuel injectors on it, and it's got a twin scroll turbocharger. That's going to be the base engine. There is no longer, and I think it's like 330 horsepower.
I was going to say it's
pretty powerful.
yeah.
But there's no longer a V6 available.
Good.
The next step up is the 5-liter V8 in its 4th generation version of the Coyote, now sporting a dual throttle body intake system fed by opening on either side of the grill, giving it a cold air induction system. Ford isn't providing numbers for either engine yet, but the EcoBoost they're assuming is about 330 horsepower, and the Mustang, the Coyote V8, the guess is somewhere around 480 horsepower, which is going to be pretty fun to drive.
Right.
Transmissions are going to be a carryover with a standard 6-speed with auto rev match functionality from Getrag and Ford's 10-speed automatic. The two transmissions available. With the automatic cars, the Ford is offering a feature called Remote Rev. Just what you want is some kid with a hot rod Mustang and that empty, hollow exhaust system that so many of them have, and he can sit there with his key fob and rev the engine.
Nice.
Not.
I tell you, I've seen two things recently that just blew my mind with the Mustangs. There was a late model Snow White GT Mustang came through town. I saw it 2 days ago with white spoke wheels on it. It was the ugliest thing I ever saw. The big 20s, you know. I mean, it was terrible.
So it was
Looked like wagon
a verge
wheels.
of a donk.
Yeah, it was trying to be. And the other thing I
It
saw,
wasn't that so much. It was the color of the
it was
wheel.
the white. Yeah, it just looked terrible.
Yeah.
And the other thing I saw that I was really disappointed in, he came up. My wife and I were in the car, and she saw it too. Said the same thing. Kid comes by us. Dark tinted windows, black Mustang, drop down, pretty new Mustang. And on the license plate, it said J. Wick. Okay, so you want to be cool, John Wick. But he had taken, the 3 taillight section, each one of the taillights, so it could have the sequential. He'd taken that out and put one big round one in it.
Oh, how odd is that?
And it looked so ugly. And it is like, what have you done?
That's all he had. He didn't have triangle ones. He had the round ones. He had to put those in there.
Yeah, that you bought at High-Low Auto Supply,
Or
for
feed,
a trailer or
feed
a truck.
store from a farm.
Yeah, it was bolt on. It was terrible.
Or J.C. Whitney.
And Ford is bringing the performance back as well on both the EcoBoost and the GT, and that's going to bring a strut tower brace, Torsen limited slip differential. Now, Torsen limited slip is pretty high-tech stuff that is the same type of limited slip that was in the Hummer H1, as well as some race cars. It's not the limited slip you think. Very, very high-tech stuff that they're putting in it.
It's all computer controlled.
No. It's all mechanical. It's worm gears and stuff. It's really pretty cool.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's really, really pretty high tech. So they're bringing in the Torsen limited slip. They're going to stagger the tire sizes so you can't rotate your tires. Personally, I don't like that, but it's also going to have a bigger set of Brembo brakes with MagnaRide dampeners on it. Now, who are they buying MagnaRide from?
I guess GM.
It's the only one who they're the ones who have it licensed. So, and GM sells that MagnaRide now, I guess, to Ford as well as to Ferrari.
Sure does work good.
Oh, it does. And then on the GT, it's going to have the Brembo is going to have 6-piston Brembos up front and 4 pistons in the back. The S650 models can also come with an electronic drift brake, which progressively locks the rear wheels by themselves without putting any brake pressure on the front, depending on how far the driver pulls the drift handle. So basically, you're going to have an 18-year-old kid with a drift stick inside of his Mustang. Like leaving a meet and crashing a Mustang isn't easy enough to do all by itself. Now they're going to offer a drift stick.
They're going to help you
to start applying the brakes.
It's just for help.
I'd like to try that.
That Mustang,
I used to have one on my Doom buggy.
That Mustang that I was telling you about that John Gray has over at Gulf Coast Auto Shield. We had it this week. They're tinting the windows on it. Brand new with the carbon fiber wheels. It had Brembos on it. These things were massive, huge, with huge rotors behind them.
I was going to say, the rotor's
Up
got to be
front,
huge, too.
I've never seen a brake that big on any car.
Drilled and slotted rotors?
Oh, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive. And this is from the factory. This is a brand spanking new car. I'm going, wow, look at that.
Well, you got to think that's probably pushing 600-plus horsepower.
Oh, at least.
With a set of tires that are going to grip.
I think it's close to 700.
Is it?
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't close to 700. So with massive tires that are going to grip, so you got to have a brake system that's going to work proportionate to it.
Plus the cooling. I mean, obviously, if you're going to ride the brakes pretty hard in
those
going to the
carbon-
corners. You're going to
yeah.
get them to cool down.
Those carbon fiber wheels. I want those.
and until you scratch,
Golly. Clip a curb.
Yeah, clip a curb.
Yeah, I'd break it.
And I'm sure those wheels are, $2,000.
Why would you even
a piece.
say that? If you got those wheels, you're going to stay away from curbs. You're going to
Well,
be very, very conscious.
Not when
of
you're
those
using
wheels.
your drift stick
Well,
and
that's true, yeah.
leaving a meat somewhere, and
I
you just
love-
kind of rip the right side
This
wheels
was
off
not.
of it.
I don't think that this was the new Mustang because I don't think it's out yet. But it was it had been a 22 model.
New enough.
Wow, man, it was beautiful on the inside. I mean, just everything about it. I was impressed.
Well, me personally, I like the look of the current generation Mustang. The new one, it looks like they tried to slick it up too much. I'm not real sure they did it.
They tried
right.
they were
gets
trying to make
narrower
it different, but I think that they went the wrong way.
Yes.
Well, I agree. I think what they should have, me personally, what they should have done was they should have made like the change that happened in the 69 and 70 Shelbys, the way that front end kind of had a cove. I think that would have been a better design change than still keeping it look like a 68 and 69 Mustang Evolution.
Yeah, because this to me, they narrowed that grill opening and stuff. It reminds me of what the Charger did. That whole front end just kind of they kind of
Shrunk
brought
it.
it down
Yeah, they
a lot
shrunk it up.
smaller, and
And they also shrunk the back of it to make the taillights smaller.
Well, the
Is that what it
taillights
is?
are the ones that are in the Mach-E Mustang.
Okay.
So they
Oh,
put
are
round
they?
ones.
Okay.
They put
It
the round
looks
ones
like
in
them.
there.
I don't know whether they're interchangeable or not, but that's what's back there.
I bet they are.
Well, yeah. Well, it makes sense. You got a parts bin.
Well, I guess. I just don't. There are some things that auto manufacturers do that puzzle me. Some of them are brilliant. Other ones, not so much.
And make you go, who should get fired for this? Because somebody should get fired.
Well, it goes to committee. You can't, it's just not one guy going
not
to do
only
it.
that, but from what I have learned doing this for 20 years, it's like, okay, they go and they have basically they bring in people from the outside. Tell us what you think of that. So they have focus groups that basically give them an idea of what general public would like or not like.
And they go out and they buy competitive cars and disassemble those to see what features they like of those that they might want to add onto their next car.
Yeah.
You know?
I some of the things that they do that you don't understand. Why would you override what people really want and do it your way, and you think that your way is better, and then they wind up falling flat on their face, and they don't sell any that it doesn't resonate with the people.
Went to Detroit one time, and Chevrolet, their new trucks that particular year, went to this big movie studio. They had bleachers set up, had it blocked off for the international press, and all this stuff. And so they're making this big deal, and they open up the curtain, and here's these two trucks. And everybody's going,
Okay.
nothing. And that, but that's when they put the step bumper in. That was their big claim to fame on that truck because they knew what their customers wanted, and this is the truck their customers wanted. It looked just like the year before.
But it had a step.
But it had the step bumper that they took off the Avalanche and put in there.
So, we've talked about this in the past. Ford is ending a job relationship with a little over 3,000 employees as they're transitioning to EVs. And that's been in the media quite a bit. Well, the most recent piece is Ford is increasing the size of the salaried workforce as they're transitioning to EVs.
Well, imagine that. Golly.
Which was my biggest pet peeve with General Motors is every time they would trim the workforce, they would trim the workforce in the people who are facing the customer and dealing with the customer on a day-to-day basis, while they would keep all of those people who made those decisions would all get raises and promotions and stuff, and they didn't really face the
Well,
customer.
Ford is also shuffling. I didn't even print the story because nobody would really care, but they're shuffling a lot of high executives at Ford. They just announced that this week. Some of them being let go. Others are moving around to different positions. They're trying to position themselves, and I understand this, for the electric thing and trying to get all of the ducks in a row with that. But then they go out and then they buy a huge, what was it that they bought?
a huge chunk of land was at, I think I sent you a link to it. It was the old American Motors building in Detroit and all the property that goes around it. So obviously there are things that they're doing that are not public yet that we don't quite understand, but they're spending billions of dollars. Billions.
And some of the spending, whether it's General Motors, Stellantis, Ford, Toyota, Honda, they're spending billions of dollars on battery technology.
Yes, and plants.
And plants to produce these new batteries. The problem with it is all of those special metals that go in those batteries,
strip mining.
They're not produced here in the United States. They're produced elsewhere. Remember, we had the guy on with cobalt,
with the mining company in Spain,
and he was complaining about how the Chinese have been buying up all of these mines elsewhere around the world, in Africa and stuff, to mine all of those special metals needed for batteries.
Well, the Chinese
did it again.
Yeah. And matter of fact, while we've got the chance, I'm going to read this story. China joined in the criticism of the new U.S. law providing tax breaks for electric vehicles, threatening unspecified action if needed to protect its interests from a law it says is discriminatory. The clause in the Inflation Reduction Act ruling out
Which
tax...
doesn't reduce inflation, by the way.
The clause in the Inflation Reduction Act ruling out tax breaks for vehicles assembled abroad, quote, discriminates against similar imported goods and is a suspected breach of the World Trade Organization principles, according to Xu Juting, spokesperson for the Ministry of Commerce in China, and he said during a Thursday briefing, China will continue to assess and evaluate implementation of the legislation and will take measures to safeguard its legal interests when necessary, she added, without providing details. The comments add to the criticism from the European Union and South Korea over the law, which says that cars will not be eligible for up to $7,500 in subsidies if critical battery components come from China, Russia, and other foreign entities of concern. Much of the world's battery supply chain is reliant on China, which is home to some of the world's largest battery giants, including Tesla supplier Contemporary Amperex Technology Company.
Yeah, and who would know more about breaking the rules at the WTO than China?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how well that worked out with the COVID vaccinations and things, products.
But we've sent everything over to China, and
because it was cheaper. Slave labor is a lot cheaper than union labor.
And where has that left us?
In deep doo-doo.
Even our fire drills.
Even our fire drills.
Chinese fire drill.
Oh yeah. That's good.
They don't have those anymore.
They used to.
We participated in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We were
Get out of the car, run around the car till the light
If
turns
I tried
green.
to do that now, the light would change 3 times.
Before he got all the way around the car.
Before he got out of the car.
I'd have to stop and pee.
That's it. Change that diaper while you're out.
There you go.
So you want to do racing?
I don't know. Do we?
Yes, we do. So NHRA this weekend is at ZMAX Dragway in
Erica's
Charlotte.
qualified number one.
P1.
Provisional.
Yeah.
Provisional.
And
Well, for round one.
And
of
she
qualifying.
took last race. She won
That's
last
right.
race. Yep.
And then another friend of the show, Antron Brown in Top Fuel, he's a qualified P6, and he's been on a run lately. You know, Antron's been doing well.
He's straightening out some things.
Well, he's getting the team together,
exactly.
you know, getting the band back together. And then next weekend, NHRA is going to be in St. Louis. The weekend after that, they're going to be up in Ennis. And then the finale is October 27th through the 30th in Las Vegas. NASCAR tonight, not tonight. NASCAR is in Texas this weekend, and then on the 2nd they're going to be in Talladega. On the 9th they're going to be in Charlotte. On the 16th they're going to be in Las Vegas, and then on the 23rd in Homestead. And I think that's the final race.
So I'm watching portions of the drag race, wherever it was last week, and NHRA made a big deal, a press release, sold out crowd. Are you kidding me? Where were? They may have sold every seat, but the people weren't in the seats.
In the seats, it was
on
clearly
Sunday, and that is a big thing that seems to be inching its way through every racetrack.
Motorsports.
Yeah, NASCAR. Oh, big race here at ZMAX or wherever it is. No,
Well,
there's nobody there.
Texas World Speedway. Generally, I mean, when I was going back, back in the 2014 range. Well, no, I guess 90s and 2000s. The grandstand on the back straight was full of people. They don't even open that anymore. Everything's all on the front grandstand.
And it's a small section by
and
the
they don't fill
start
it.
finish
They don't
line.
fill it in
Yeah.
anymore either. So they're losing, and that's revenue. I believe that's revenue to the track, not revenue to NASCAR. I think NASCAR's revenue is all driven off of TV and stuff, but the track and the promoter, they're not getting the turnout that they want. Part of it's probably because the tickets are $100 a piece.
Well, that and the format and the egos and the jerkwads that are on there today. I mean, really?
Well, speaking of egos and jerkwads, Jeff's favorite thing is Formula One. Singapore Grand Prix is next weekend. Then on the 9th is the Japanese Grand Prix. And then October 23rd is a Circuit of the America for the U.S. Grand Prix. And then on the 30th, they're going to go to Mexico. And then on the November 13th, they're going to do Sao Paulo, Brazil. And then on November 20th, Abu Dhabi. And I think that's the finale. Next weekend is the finale for IMSA road racing, and that will be the end of the DPI era of the prototypes. So there'll be some pretty cool cars for sale after next weekend, and that's where the Cadillacs have.
Might have to look into that.
By the way, I want you to know that I was talking to Stan, and he's pretty much given us carte blanche to any of the cars that he has in his collection to be inside our booth at Autorama this year.
Very nice.
I want the white Bentley with the red leather interior.
That's not one of them. That's Sheila's car.
That's not in the stable.
But so I think it's really between the Woody or the 38 Buick that my daughter used in her marriage. The drive-away thing.
Yep.
That was a stunning, beautiful car. Black 38 Buick. Oh, gosh.
We'd have to have something to wipe it, keep it wiped down.
We'll handle that.
Hire somebody.
We'll handle that. But yeah. So
I don't know. I'm still a fan of the black and white Ranchero. I think that's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it is.
Is that the one you want?
Yeah, because that is to
Was that
me
a 58?
58. It's an extremely unusual car because it's a one-year-only body style, and it's not something you see very many
Will
of.
it fit in the booth?
Yeah. Will the Buick fit in the booth?
I don't know.
Me either.
It's got
gonna
that
have to
squared
measure.
off back end with the little bustle butt on it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it'd be much longer, if any longer, than the truck we had last year.
I don't know.
That
was
truck
a short.
was it was a short truck.
It was a short bed regular
wheel-
cab, but still.
I don't know. We'll squeeze it in there somehow.
Sure.
So if
Either
we
way.
haven't decided on the car, my vote would be the black and white El Camino.
Okay, so let's remember that. And remind me, and I'll tell Stan that
Because
that's
my
what
vote
we
doesn't
want.
count. It's all about Don. Everything's always
Well,
about Don.
I
not
haven't
true.
seen all the stands. I've seen the Ranchero, and I've seen the Woody that he had out there the other
The
day.
Woody was gorgeous, though.
Yes, it
I'll
was.
give you that. That Woody was
But it
stunning.
You see a lot of Woodies. I mean, not a lot, but when you see them, yeah, okay, I've seen them. And
You'd rather have the Ranchero. Ranchero it is.
but I don't. I mean, the only thing I've seen of the other one was the pictures that you put on about your daughter's wedding, and you didn't really see much of the car there. So I don't.
And
The
there were
Buick's a
night
cool
shots,
car because the Buick is got that gangster look.
Total gangster look, and the fact that Stan bought it out of a museum. So it is to the teens. I mean, it looks like it rolled better than it rolled off the factory showroom floor.
So do we enter it in the show, or just bring it and display it? Because didn't we entered the truck last year?
Yeah,
Dwayne won.
We just had him in our.
Well, I think that
display.
would be a good. I don't know. I haven't seen the Ranchero, but knowing Stan, it's probably perfect.
And will Dwayne be at Woody's this year?
I don't know.
Well, that's where we
Yeah, I
connected
know.
with
That's
him
where we
last year.
connected to. So we may bump into him.
Yeah.
Let's do Jeff's concept cars.
Okay.
And let me just say this about that. Back before I got into all of this, and what was it, 2000? Somewhere around there, 99, 2000. I was always a car guy, and I always went to the new car show, the Houston Auto Show, as it were. And I followed that thing around since its inception at the Astro Hall. Remember those days?
Yeah, well, that was way back when.
And there was always a concept, several concept cars
From different
from
manufacturers.
the big manufacturers, basically the Detroit 3. And some of them, they had a couple of concept cars. You never see a concept car anymore, ever.
Well, you're going to see some here, and these are
If
the
you
new
see
versions.
anything now, the last time I've seen any, it was at the Detroit Auto Show pre-COVID. But what it wasn't like a concept car like what we grew up. It was like, okay, we're thinking about building this, and if we get the right reaction, we build it. Concept cars, used to be like dream cars, and
like Motorama.
Yes.
correct.
And but the ones they do now, if they do them, is basically a precursor to a production
And
car.
there's your lead-in,
There are a
Jeffrey.
bunch out there. I just selected a few, the ones that tickled my fancy. Conrad, I'm going to let you do this. All you have to do is push this button here.
Okay.
You
Go.
gotta do the space bar. So what we see, this is a Suzuki, and it's called a Hanare, Hanare. Ever wanted to own a home on wheels that drove itself? Well, Suzuki has designed one. The word Hanare means detached cottage in Japanese. And that's not it. You went too fast, but that's okay. It's autonomous, and it's a little bit different. No steering wheel. There's no driver's seat, and it has a interior like a living room that you can adjust the furniture in. Now, it attracted me to that vehicle like a moth to light, or to Conrad to an Oldsmobile. So
Well, because you're a minivan guy,
Yeah.
and a station wagon guy.
Right. So, and then the next one is a Hyundai Vision T plug-in. The T is a slightly bigger hybrid version that could lean toward the Hyundai Tucson. Not much has been revealed in terms of specs for the concept. Hyundai showcased this particular concept vehicle to show where the company is headed in its future. Some nifty aesthetics, including fancy light sequence with very large but intriguing wheels. The next one is an Aston Martin Lagonda. It's an all-terrain. Spell that, Mike. Lagonda.
Laganda.
You got it.
Which is a name of their past.
Right. Lagonda, it's estimated to hit the markets in 2022, but for now it's still a concept, so good luck finding it.
They all look the same. These are all SUVs that, just like everything else, they all look the same.
And the other thread of this is they're all electric.
SUV stands for suppository unit.
Okay, whatever.
Utility vehicle, because they all slip through the air.
The luxury crossover just meant for the posh and
Uterine
premier, but those who like it, it's edgy and on the wild side.
Me or you?
The exterior design looks something like you'll find on the set of Alien and Predator. The protruding backside and the inside is the minimalistic. The Lagonda.
Did you read this before
I did. I'm just trying to hurry.
Why?
He just can't read it now.
No, he's trying to avoid
Lagonda, no
the
matter
side
what shape this
conversation.
vehicle takes, it's only in the electric brand. 300 miles. That's all you get out of it, Mike. So you wouldn't be able to do that.
Looks like one of a moon rover or something.
Yep.
And the next?
Yeah, see, I knew it. Is the Genesis Essentia.
Now, I like that.
It's a sports car made classy. It needs to be orange. It is also electric. It's a good-looking sports car. The concept is complete. The driver in the world around it, inside is so conceptual. There's really no pictures of it at all.
So you have to have
you got to
your
kind
own
of dream
concept of
about
what
it.
it is inside.
What is that? What's the emblem on the hood?
Whatever.
It's a Genesis.
Oh, that's a Genesis. Oh.
Yeah, and the last one
It's the
is a
shaking
Honda
hand.
Sports EV, beautifully crafted. It's the Sports EV. There's also a Honda E, which sort of looks like the Mustang that Mike was talking about earlier with the round lights. Though the original concept of this vehicle had a deep hood design, Honda is expecting to make small space, shallow compartment to carry a bit more in the passenger side of it. not necessarily.
It looks like a
on
Mustang.
It kind of looks like a cross between the old Toyota S2000 and a Mustang.
It's only going to be available in Europe and Asia.
Good. That's where they need
Good
to
place
keep it.
for
The
it.
In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams on the
Yeah.
iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast channel. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues after this quick break.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, ExoShield for your windshield, and XPEL window tint, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Colorado teardrops.
All right.
Not what you think. These are campers.
Oh, okay.
Teardrop campers. You're going to like it, I think. Let's go camping. Conrad has the In Wheel Time Car Clinic. We'll have This Week Auto News. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Seekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us this morning. His name is Dean Wiltshire. He's the CEO of Colorado Teardrops, and we welcome him to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Dean, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine. We're looking at you. You're looking sharp this morning. Got your hair combed and everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Hours of prep.
Well, yeah, just like us, no doubt. So, Dean, where are you in Colorado?
We're in Boulder, Colorado, right at the foothills of the Rockies, and it is a beautiful day. We had rain earlier, and now the atmosphere is nice and clear. Big football game here in town. CU Buffs play UCLA a little later today.
Well, it sounds like a good time up there in Colorado. My daughter is camping. She lives in Golden, and she is camping this weekend. So she
cool.
said, Dad,
good for her.
Yeah, Dad, I'm a little worried. I think it's going to get cold and we're going to be in a hammock. I said, well, it might not be the best idea, be in a hammock when it's cold, but whatever.
She needs an RV.
She needs an RV, and that's what we're getting to.
Go.
So let's talk about a teardrop trailer, a camper, if you will. And explain to the folks that don't know what a teardrop is.
Well, a teardrop is a particular shaped trailer, like a teardrop, as you would imagine, yet it's small and light so that it can be towed by smaller vehicles. The smallest I've seen is actually Mini Countryman towing one of our trailers. But a typical customer would be a Subaru Forester towing, a trailer that has a complete bedroom for y'all, and then you open the back, and that's where the galley is.
Gotcha. So this is not your typical trailer per se. Can you stand up in yours?
No, you cannot. We do have a Golden coming up and a Denver coming up that you will be able to stand up, but it's more of a lifestyle. It's about being off-road into the backwoods without any facilities, if you will, not at a formal campground, and being closer to nature. So, you cook outside, you sleep inside. So you have your protection at night and your warmth at night, but you're surrounded by beauty outside.
Now, what do you do for a bathroom?
A tree and a leaf.
I have a shovel. But there are many different solutions. The trailers do come with awnings as well that you can wrap around and have little privacy tents, if you will, along with on-demand hot water tent or water, and little porta potties you can use as well. So the more formal folks would appreciate that. We've actually put porta potties on the tongue of a trailer for two women that were camping throughout Colorado, and they had a little shower curtain they would whip around, so they had their privacy while still connected to their car, if you will.
So what would one of your teardrops weigh that you're pulling, say, with a Mini?
That would be 1,000 pounds.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
1,000 pounds.
And has that got the wood interior like showing behind you?
Absolutely. This is a hickory interior, and I'm going to just swap my graphics so we're looking at the front of the trailer. There's the window. Now, this is our brand new model, the Boulder, and we haven't actually made more than just our prototype here for the Boulder. And I'm sorry, let me swap it back. But let me hop out and show you some other trailers that we got going on with my finger over the lens. You can tell I'm a true professional. But here,
So how did you get into this? Are you a camper guy by nature, or you obviously have experience?
In Colorado, you have to be an outdoor enthusiast. It's just part of the getup, right?
Sure, yeah.
And as such, my daughter and I camped from Boulder all the way to the West Coast one summer, and it was fabulous until we got to Yellowstone, and there were all these signs. Bear activity, do not cross. And the morning we left with my precious 11-year-old, a grizzly killed a camper. And that was back in 2011. So, and at the time I was driving a small light car. So I started to ask myself, what could I haul with my small light car? And Colorado Teardrops was born out of that idea, if you will.
So do these...
So this is the Boulder?
This is the Boulder, yeah. This is the world's first EV trailer, and this is our prototype. Under the floor there's 75 kilowatts of energy to charge EVs.
Oh, wow.
So when you hook it on
kind
to
of
your,
extend
to your
the range.
EV, yes,
exactly.
you plug it in and it
To
extends it.
A dirty little secret in the EV world is that EVs lose huge range towing, typically 50%. But our friends at Road and Track just wrote a very detailed article showing a Ford F-150, a Rivian, and a Hummer all towing a 6,000-pound kind of Airstream trailer. And they lost 66% of their range typically.
Holy cow.
So if you could go 300 miles, you can now go 100 miles. And EVs already have range anxiety. Why add that to it?
Right. So do these have, and I'm not going to say fully off-road, but off-roadable type suspensions on them? You had talked about you had talked earlier about going places normally campers wouldn't go.
That's correct. So this first prototype is paired with the Tesla Model X. So it's got the same ground clearance and such. And this one's what we'd call an on-road trailer. But we certainly do a lot of off-road trailers, as you can see here. Those are 33-inch. And in all cases, we have full skid plates underneath.
Okay.
But the Boulder one, that's set up basically for the EV, it'll kind of go wherever your EV will go.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And, while we're starting to see Rivians hit the road and Ford F-150 Lightnings hit the road and such, they're
there's not many of them out there just yet. So we're starting with on-road campers first, and there are a lot of folks that do that. So, with your Model X, to where you could typically do about 300 miles range with a full battery pack, with this trailer, you will be able to do about 330 miles. We have not accepted the cut the range in half or by 2/3. We're actually providing additional range.
Wow. So it more than offsets the weight of the trailer behind the EV.
That's correct. This trailer is 2,200 pounds. The batteries themselves are 1,000 pounds to get that 75 kilowatts.
So is that an aluminum structure with veneer wood? Is that how it's built?
Excellent question. Yes, they're made like aircraft in the sense we use aircraft grade aluminum inside the sidewalls. We weld all that up. Super insulation, and then hickory or maple wood is then applied.
So what we're looking at right there is the galley.
That's correct, with fold-out doors, so that you don't have your back to the crowd, if you will. I don't know if you've ever hosted a party and ended up in the kitchen, with your back to the crowd. I find that very uncomfortable. So we make sure that you can both cook and socialize and have enough room for everyone.
Now, do you sell the accessories too with the trailer? In other words, the stove and all of that stuff,
and the coolers that fit.
It'll all fit in there.
Funny story. When we first started, we built rentals so that we could test our market and our product. Nothing like renting stuff to figure out how it can break, right?
Yeah, right.
And we bought full what I call galley gear to outfit the trailer. And then our very first customer showed up, and he had all his stuff, and he was like, "Oh, why would you provide that? I'm a camper. I have all this stuff." So that was a really good lesson for us. So we find our customers are typically already camping and have their own gear. So we didn't get involved that way.
Gotcha. So
this would be like an upgrade out of a tent or something, like you say, you're more secure.
Exactly. We do have black bear and further north grizzly up here, so it's important to stay safe and comfortable. And our models are unique in the sense that they also allow a family of 4 to fit in this exact boulder here. So that couch we see here is a queen size bed, and then we have 2 bunk areas for children under 5 foot. One here, one in the back there.
Yeah, we have Jeff, who's under 5 foot.
Yeah. There you go. It's funny when we do trade shows, you'll always see the shorter guys grab the biggest guy and push him towards our trailer. And while we're looking at our smaller trailers right now, we had a 7-foot gentleman at a trade show, and his short 6'5" buddies were like, "Yeah, get in, man, get in." And they all sat inside. And there's still several inches of clearance for the tall guy. And he got outside, and I said, "See, you're not that tall."
That's pretty cool.
Well, what a cool concept of building something that's towable behind basically any car.
Right. Thank you.
Because the reality of it is, we were talking about the off-road capabilities of it. A lot of times you're going to go down a dirt road or a gravel road or something like that, which should be no problem because you've got plenty of clearance for that. I mean, you're not going to go rock crawling in an EV to begin with, or not.
So
that type of EV.
Exactly. We have several versions of hardening, right? So we start with our minimal is a torsion axle. Then we get all the way up to independent suspension.
Do they have brakes on them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, electronic brakes or surge brakes?
Electronic brakes.
Okay.
So okay.
Yeah.
So if you, especially,
and is this one that you're pointing at that's the prototype. Is the other one actually in production yet?
Oh yeah. So the prototype, again, this is our first one. These we make about 6 a week, and people pick them all up.
Oh wow!
Across our great nation. I had the pleasure of shaking yet another customer hand yesterday afternoon from Michigan. So he towed all the way or drove all the way here to pick it up. It's a great place to begin your vacation.
Colorado. Oh yeah, beautiful country. And what's the price range? And I'm not asking for an exact price, but because I'm sure they kind of range depend on content.
Yeah. We start as low as, and I'll hear a little gasp here, $15,000 for our smaller ones, and then the Boulder sits with a price point of $55,000.
And those are outfitted the way you see it?
The options with the stove and the coolers are not included, but
that's Amazon.
Yeah, but the storage on top, the storage in front, what a great use of space you make.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like we'll peek inside this one right here. You can see that it's not completely organized inside, but there's a cover that covers the floor here. That cover actually turns into a table that comes off of the fender, so that you can have your dining room table set up there as well.
Oh, okay.
A true outdoor experience.
Katie needs one of these.
No, she does not.
Yes, she does.
No, she
So much
doesn't.
fun. Yeah, and I will mention that the Boulder is also positioned to be your power wall as well. So like a Ford F-150, if you will, Lightning, we can keep a house running on the power beneath the floor there for several days.
And what is charging like? One charger, two charger, DC charger?
Sure. So our first rev, we have completed our AC charging. So that means we can charge the trailer with your standard home chargers, which is 220 volts or what have you, or 110 voltage. Takes longer. Our next phase is DC to DC fast charging. I'll point out with the AC charging, we can charge the vehicle with AC charging. Now, DC to DC, of course, allows that tow vehicle, or the trailer to be charged at 80% in 20 minutes. But it does have a wear on the batteries, as the world
it shortens
learning.
the life.
Right. Nirvana for us, though, is inline charging. We're actually working with an international automobile manufacturer, I can't name, to do online charging during tow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that would be
using the ICE motor to generate electricity to
replenish
the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Well, I'm sorry. It would be to provide energy from the trailer to the EV while under tow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And we conduct those tests in November of this year.
Up and down the hills of Colorado, which stress out
We're
an
actually
EV
going
as
to be
well.
in Arizona for it. So, it'll be a good desert, flat, controlled environment, if you will.
Well,
initially.
and the cool weather is better on the warm weather is better on the batteries. The cooler, the cooler a battery, the shorter the range.
That's an excellent point. Thermal management of your batteries. If you're camping in, say, Moab overnight tonight, it might touch freezing, and therefore you're going to lose battery just in the cold weather. So our batteries are thermally heated and cooled just to maintain their appropriate conditions, if you will.
So you actually have a coolant system on the vehicle to manage the battery temperature.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Wow.
Beautiful builds.
Thank you. It's so very satisfying. We have 49 employees here in 20,000 square feet, and we all have such a great time delivering such pleasure to our customers.
Well, Dean, it's great to talk to you. What does the website?
It is ColoradoTeardrops.com.
I'll get it on our social media.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and
Thank
if
you,
you'd share our stuff with your friends, we'd appreciate it as well.
Katie could test drive one.
Will do. Absolutely.
Well, again, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for the tour this morning. The Colorado Teardrops, and the one we've been focusing on is the Boulder. And if you're into trailering, here you go.
And you're thinking about an EV, this could be the good combination.
There you go. Dean, thanks again. Talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good morning.
You too. We'd love to hear from you, by the way. Just shoot us an email. Our address here at In Wheel Time is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. What are we clinicking this morning?
We're going to talk about brake fluid. Brake fluid can actually wear out over time. So you need to make sure you're changing it periodically. Otherwise, not only will your brakes become spongy and unsafe, the moisture will slowly begin to corrode the metal components inside of it. Brake fluid always plays a prominent role in the proper function of an automobile. You know, if you can go fast, you better be able to stop. And braking systems help generate those hydraulic forces required to stop the vehicle. Brake fluids are subject to an average amount of heat, and that heat depends on, not only the ambient temperature, but how hard you use the brakes. So as you're slamming on the brakes, you're creating heat as the pads stop the rotor. Well, right next to the pad is the reservoir from the brake system itself. So you can see rotor temperatures 700-800 degrees that are, a half inch, 3/4 of an inch away from 6 or 7 ounces worth of brake fluid inside the caliper. So that radiating heat is what basically damages the brake fluid. Most brake fluid, .3 is the factory fill for almost everything out there, which is good to, it'll boil at like 330 degrees.
How often should you change it?
My opinion is I would change it. Depends on the manufacturer, but every 2 to 3 years, I think you should change your brake fluid. When you look at the Europeans, they say every 2 years or 24,000 miles. When you look at the Oriental imports, they're generally
Can you say that? Oriental? You mean Asian?
Yeah. Asian imports.
Yeah. Japanese
Oriental.
domestic. Yeah.
Asian.
I used the word Oriental the other day, and I was scolded.
Chastised, okay.
Yeah.
So the Asian imports,
Japanese
they
domestic.
say about every 3 years. Domestically, General Motors says every 45,000 miles, which would be on about a 3-year cycle with a 15,000-mile thing. But you need to change it because as the fluid ages, the boiling point drops. So as the boiling point drops, you start to get bubbles in your brake fluid, air bubbles, and that's what creates that spongy pedal. And it also lengthens the stopping distance of the vehicle. So some of the symptoms of old brake fluid is a spongy brake pedal. The brake pedal parts can start to corrode, a gradual loss of brake function, and discoloration. You'll watch the brake fluid will go from what should be relatively clear, maybe with a little amber color, to black.
Yeah.
And when it's black, it should have been changed. So you want to change it really before it gets black. But if it is black, it's time to change it anyhow.
Well, I told you that I did all that service on the Corvette, and it had never been done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was all of the fluids, and it was a pricey endeavor.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
because it needed it desperately.
And brake fluid, like I said, it ages. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, not hydroscopic. It's hygroscopic because it wants to grow the amount of water in it, so it's always looking to absorb water. And if you think about what we talked about, the heat, water boils at 212 degrees, so microscopic amounts of water in brake fluid is going to boil at 212 degrees. You don't even have to wait for the brake fluid
and
to
it brings
boil.
down the boiling point of the brake fluid.
And it also creates more corrosion in there. So that's why you want to get out all that old funky fluid. You want to prevent the corrosion in the master cylinder. You want to clean all the varnish out of the brake system, remove all the air from the brake lines.
And we used to think that, we'll just change the brake fluid, bleed each one and be done with it. But that really, the way to do it these days is to put that pressure thing up there on the master cylinder.
It's called pressure over vacuum.
Yeah.
So you drain the master cylinder reservoir, you fill it up with fresh brake fluid, and then you put a pressure
and then you
hose
shove
on
it through all the lines.
And then you turn that on, and then you go around to each of the wheel cylinders with a vacuum hose and open the bleeder on it until it runs clean.
Sort of like an evac and recharge.
Right. And you can literally see the fluid run clean, and
Sure.
that's when you know you're good. But the benefits are more responsive brakes, increased safety of the vehicle, longer life of the brake system, and smoother stopping. So change your brake fluid every 2 to 3 years, regardless of what your manufacturers say, because there are manufacturers out there that do not even tell you to change your brake fluid. But it's a small price to pay for the safety of your family.
But it is something you can do in the driveway.
Just don't spill it.
Doesn't sound like it'd be the
theoretically, yes.
Yes, theoretically.
But
Conrad will come to
believe
your
me,
house and knock
a
on
brake
your door.
fluid. And Don always asks the question, "How much?" A quality brake fluid flush using a .4 fluid is going to cost you somewhere between $120 and $160. $60. It's a small investment because, once every 2 or 3 years, it's really not that much.
And the key to that is quality.
That's all it is.
The key is quality.
Let a professional do it.
Have you ever had it?
Particularly
I bet you've never had it done in the truck, have you?
No. But I've never, not in any vehicle I've ever owned.
And what part are you waiting for on your truck?
The ABS.
Okay. Well,
ABS module. In fact, we had the anniversary of ordering it 1 year ago this week.
Wow. Never coming in.
To go to dinner?
2022
Get your money
shaping up
back.
to be another good year for the nation's new vehicle retailers, according to dealership financial data from the Automobile Dealers Association. New vehicle production remains constrained and likely will stay that way for the rest of the year, if not into 2023. Consumer demand for new and used vehicles remains strong, and parts and service operations are performing well, according to this spokesperson aficionado. Franchise dealers posted back-to-back record profits the last 2 years, and Mr. Manzi's assessment of 2022's first half suggests they will enjoy robust profits again this year. So your poor car dealer ain't so poor.
No.
And
but if you look, their inventories are starting to improve.
Well, and again, matter of fact, I had this conversation just this week again. If you're going to go and buy a car, please don't pay dealer markup off of MSRP, because you hurt all of us. Because if they think that they can get the dealer markup onto your charge card, then they all want to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
do your research on financing because the interest rates went up again.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you-
But I
thank you-
will say
thank you,
this,
Joe.
that Ram is still offering 0% financing for certain models of the Ram 1500. I think the Lone Star edition for 72 months was zero financing if you go through Chrysler.
I wonder what they
that's a
give me
steal.
for my 2015 that needs an ABS module that they can't seem to find.
Well, I'd go talk to somebody and trade it in. Go to Granger in Orange.
Yeah, trade it in. That way you wouldn't have to worry about all that
Yeah,
writing
but I
that's
wonder
all
what they
over the
give
car.
me for it.
You won't know till you go ask.
I know.
They're giving big bucks right now for
Yeah,
them.
but then they got to get the ABS module.
Leave
that
that
they
up to
can't
them.
get.
Who
Well, I know.
cares?
Well,
They'll figure it out and say, no, you can't have it.
Just
Toyota
pull the bulb.
Toyota is close to is about to close its plant in St. Petersburg, Russia. Finally, might sell it amid shortages of key components and materials following Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. The automaker suspended production at the factory in March following Russia's invasion. It also stopped vehicle imports into Russia. Automaker said it will keep a restructured organization in Russia to provide service to existing Toyota and Lexus customers there. Moscow's invasion on February 24th has prompted a mass corporate exodus from Russia, leaving behind assets worth billions of dollars.
And that's just making Putin happy.
Yeah. No, go ahead. You go ahead and leave. Well, the problem with that is
Because he's got your assets.
because he's got your assets. Clever. Funny. Not so. All right. It's time now for a quick break, and we are going to wrap up today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show
Already?
after a quick break. So
No.
we invite you to stay tuned because we have some important information in our close today. Stay with us. Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Car Social takes place Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. Tell your friends, bring your car, and enjoy this rare opportunity to see Houston's finest rides. You'll also learn about nano-ceramic coatings, Exo Shield for your windshield, and Expel window tint, among others. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Join us for Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer and all the details. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Real Time Car Talk Show. When you're on Facebook, check out our page, if you would. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features, along with all things automotive, all week long for free, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies. You can find the In Real Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app. In Real Time can also be heard and seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and InRealTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central Time. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. The In Real Time Chief Engineer, David Ainsley. Thank you, David, for all your work this week.
You bet.
Our Marketing, Advertising Manager, and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Podcast Editor, Mike Out of This World Bars, and Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Real Time Car Talk Show is produced by Monty, the Singing Donkey.
All right.
Monty. He hauls ass. Be sure to join us again for the next 3-hour In Real Time Car Talk Show Saturday, October 1st, starting at 8 a.m. Central Time from Woody's Waterfront Car Show in San Leon, Texas, on all of our In Real Time Car Talk outlets, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.